workers' comp insurance. See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pi.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi, or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's trypie.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction, and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the stimp meter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on stimp meter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
As a business owner, outfitting your van fleet with Mercedes Sprinter vans is just smart business. Mercedes Sprinters qualify for a remarkably generous IRS Section 179 tax deduction. This means you literally save thousands in tax savings. Family-owned Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a dedicated Mercedes van department with trained commercial vehicle experts ready to help you take on any job. See our selection of capable Mercedes vans at nbofstockton.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Hey, first things first here. Happy Friday, Drive Guys. Kevin Waddy Gleason and Kyle Draper, who's getting ready to call the Kings and the Warriors on Sunday night. Second thing second here, Kyle Draper. Congratulations on the Philadelphia Phillies advancing to the blah, blah, blah National League Championship Series by ousting the 100-win Braves for the second year in a row. Way to go.
Thank you, White. I appreciate it. I know you weren't rooting for my guys, the Phillies. I know you call it a bandbox of a stadium that they play in, but the Phillies are a legit team. I thought last year was sort of a fluke. They got hot at the right time. But this is a good ball club right now, and they face the Diamondbacks, I believe, so a chance to get back to the World Series. So exciting times for us Phillies fans.
You know what I like about the Phillies, and it's not a lot, frankly, but I heard their GM today, or read their GM talking about how he put this team together, and, you get really good power pitching, and you get guys that just really are competitors and love to play baseball, and that's one thing you can't take away from them. Those guys, they really are hard driving competitors who thrive in the October pressure. And I'll tell you another thing, Castellanos, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's got the prettiest right-handed swing I've ever seen.
You like his swing? Yeah. And
beautiful.
Him and, I would say arguably he defines what Phillies fans want to see from their athletes. Hard-nosed, tough guy.
Yeah.
No nonsense kind of guy. Some would call a jerk at times. He plays with an edge, like you said. But he's, what this team is doing, Bryce Harper, maybe arguably can go down as one of the greatest Phillies ever, when you look at these runs that they're on. And so this is just a team of grinders, man, they're a tough out. And that's a great place to play. Forget your bandbox, but in terms of atmosphere, it is tough to win in Philadelphia.
I get that. And I got to say, maybe it's because there was so much online. To me, I tried watching some of the football games, like, the Chiefs, just the way Alan
Right.
said it today was, I agreed with that. They kind of played with their food a little bit. That game never really grabbed me, but that baseball game, because there was so much on the line and because those Philly fans were so excited, to me, that was a lot more watchable than the football game.
Yeah, it was. And the thing about that series, Braves and Phillies, it got kind of nasty, off the field as well.
Yeah.
Like, you talk about a rivalry, you talk Kings Warriors, it sort of resembled that to an extent. Like, sure, they're division rivals. I get it. Played last year in the playoffs, but it went up a different level. It turned into a real hatred between the two clubs and the fan bases as well this year.
What'd you think of that? Was it Arcia of the Braves
Yeah.
he said something about Bryce after that incredible walk-off double play in the clubhouse? He said, "Way to go, Bryce," or something like that.
Attaboy, I think he said.
attaboy.
Yeah, attaboy.
That got back to the Phillies, and I could understand how they'd be upset. And then Harper stared him down when he hit the home runs, and they made T-shirts. Arcia said, I didn't mean that to get out. It's in the clubhouse. So I'm trying to figure out okay, you said it, so own up to it. That's one thing. But is there anything to that? Look, I'm not taking anything away from the Phillies. And I got out there and they made the most of it. Good for them. But is there something to a guy saying, I said that in the clubhouse. What I say in the clubhouse should stay in the clubhouse?
No, I don't think there's anything to that because, and you've been in locker rooms and once they open the door and let reporters in, there's nothing's, unless
Especially
they
now,
say
right?
off the record or something like that.
Today.
Especially today. And so, there's this notion that, the clubhouse is a sacred environment and, everything like that. It is until you invite,
right,
the media in.
The doors are open.
Yeah, the media's job is to report what's heard and what they say in the clubhouse. And so I get it. Arcia wasn't talking directly to the reporter. He's talking to his teammate. But you got to be more aware of that, right?
Yes, gotta be smarter.
Once the media is in, zip it up. No more trash talk. No more bulletin board material. So, the Braves getting all upset about that. Their fan base getting all upset about that, criticizing the reporter who wrote about it and everything. To me, that's totally off base. Once the media is allowed in, it's on record unless you say we're off record right now.
Speaking of being smarter, Sean Payton.
Oh, my God.
He's having a nightmare season. It continues. You're shaking your
head. Go ahead. Set it. It's a dumpster fire. It's a train wreck. Like every week, it just gets worse and worse for Sean Payton, I think.
Right. And then last night, late in the first half, they took a sack. There's 20-something seconds left in the half.
22 seconds left. Yep.
Yeah. Russell Wilson takes a sack, and they call a timeout. The Broncos do. Now, it didn't really matter because I think the Chiefs would have anyway.
Right.
But Denver did, and people wondered, why did you do that? And after the game, Peyton had to say, yeah, I lost track of the downs.
Right.
That was on me. I made a dumb mistake.
And it's not a rookie head coach either. This is a veteran, a Super Bowl winning coach. And, this is something that Nathaniel Hackett might have not have done last year. Like, Nathaniel Hackett had a better record last year at this time than Sean Payton. And so this is what you call karma is happening to Sean Payton right now. Maybe a great coach, but when he opened up his mouth and criticized Nathaniel Hackett last year, calling it, the worst run operation in the NFL, I mean, that's karma coming back to bite you. And now you're 1-5. I think it's the worst start for the Broncos since 1994, I think I read. And so it's karma coming back to bite them.
Yeah, you know how coaches a lot of times will say, hey, physical errors are going to happen, but you can't make mental mistakes. Yeah. Then you got a coach, presumably a Hall of Fame coach, and he said, yeah, I was boneheaded. I lost track of the downs in this season. Wow, dreadful. In a way, this is going back a ways. What's going on with Sean Payton and the Broncos reminds me a little bit of what happened when Dick Motta came to the Kings. The Kings were kind of lost in the wilderness, and they brought in this guy that had won a championship, in 78 with the Washington Bullets. And he came in and he thought, yeah, I'll show you how you run these things. And he got rid of players, and he got almost an expansion team thinking, I'll fix this whole thing. Of course, he didn't fix the whole thing.
Right.
Because he couldn't fix the whole thing. But I get the same feeling from Sean Payton. Thinks, I'll come in there, I'll fix everything. And surprise, you're not that good.
And what we're seeing now is that if I'm a player in that locker room, how much belief do I have in the head coach, Sean Payton?
Especially after last night.
Exactly. And so I said this last year about the Sacramento Kings. When Mike Brown took over, sure, they started 0-4, But that 7-game win streak in mid-November, early December, that sort of catapulted their rest of their season. Because now players are looking at, Mike Brown and saying, wow, what he's preaching to us is actually working. And so now Sean Payton's telling his guys, we got to do this, we got to do that. And they're still getting smoked. They're still getting mollywopped. And so to me as a player, I'm like, does this guy really know what he's talking about, And so I don't know how much faith they have in their coach right now. 1-5 after 6 games. Sure, it was a close game last night. But to your point, I don't think anybody ever thought that the Chiefs were really threatened in that game.
Yeah, when Mike Brown came here, as you know, better than most, he gets maybe too much credit for this, but he had a ton to do with establishing a culture.
Yeah.
It's not just one guy, but he had a huge role in that. Monty did, the players bought in. So Mike Brown comes in and helps establish a winning culture. Sean Payton has gone to Denver and done the exact opposite.
Right. It's worse than it was a season ago. And now, he came in and talking about Russell Wilson. He shouldn't be kissing babies and all that, and running for office. Basically, I'm paraphrasing here. And so I don't know if his quarterback is on the same page. And I've said it. This, the head coach quarterback relationship, it almost has to be a marriage, almost has to be a love affair. Sort of like we're seeing with the Niners with Shanahan and Brock Purdy. And so if your head coach and your quarterback are not on the same page, there's a little angst between each other. That's what you see what's happening in Denver. It's a dumpster fire right
What
now.
do you think has happened just to Russell Wilson, the quarterback?
That's a great question, because when I look at his season numbers, 12 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. It's not like, he's upside down when it comes to that. But his completion percentage is solid. I think he's at like 65%, something. But what I saw last night, 95 yards passing, he's not that guy that can carry a team anymore. He needs weapons around him, and so that's what I think is happening. I thought early in the season he looked a little bit like old Russ, little pep in his step. And I don't know whether it's the 70-20 debacle against the Dolphins or what, but he's regressing, it looks like, each week.
I'm wondering here, and we're talking so much about quarterbacks and systems, and we have Mike Sando's going to join us in just about 5 minutes or so here on Sactown Sports to talk about the Brock Purdy situation. Yeah. But I'm wondering if Russell was really never quite that guy. When he was with Seattle, and he was a fine quarterback, and he deserved all the accolades, but they had obviously a defense that was out of this world, a tremendous running game, and he thrived. And now when he's expected to be, all right, you're going to carry the team, maybe he was never really that good. I don't know. He's shown flashes of it, but overall, he really misses the Legion of Boom and Marshawn Lynch.
But I will say with Russ, he did keep the Seahawks sort of relevant, though, I thought. He wasn't great or anything, but they didn't completely fall off a cliff. I don't believe they had some rough years, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, he was connected on a lot of deep throws.
For a while, he was, the guy that kept them in relevance. And so I always say, too, when you look at it, most of the time, great quarterbacks have great players around them. There's a few instances, you could argue Patrick Mahomes right now, but even in Patrick Mahomes' early years, that first Super Bowl, they were loaded. They had a ton of talent around him. And so you need weapons, a.k.a. Brock Purdy. He needs weapons. And, you can't fault him for that. And I'm not going to fault Russell Wilson for the squad he had out there in Seattle. Same way I'm not going to criticize Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. You need weapons to be successful. It's very rare for a quarterback to not have any receivers, basically, and still be a Super Bowl level team.
I think Brock Purdy's probably the only guy who could thrive under those conditions.
I'm sure.
I don't know for
I don't know if my guy Mike Sando would agree with you on that. And so I can't wait to have him so we can set this whole Brock Purdy conversation to bed. Send it to bed. It'll be wrapped up after my guy Mike Sando.
Warmed up. Mike Sando from The Athletic explains why Brock Purdy's on track to be actually the next Dak Prescott. That's next year as we continue on this wonderful Friday. Drive, guys. Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening with Ram Power Days?
We love American muscle. And right now is the last call on new 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger SXTs before they're gone, with lease payments as low as $399.
What about all those Ram trucks I see?
Save thousands with 0% financing for 72 months and $6,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew Cabs. And we all know 0% financing is almost impossible to find in 2023.
These deals can't last long. So hurry into Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
Take 0% financing for 72 months plus $6,000 dealer discount. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $1,389 per thousand borrowed. Lease new 2023 Dodge Charger or Challenger SXT for $399 a month for 42 months with $49.95 due signing plus tax, license fees, and any accessories. Offer subject to credit approval through U.S. Bank with 10,000 allowable miles per year. 25 cents per mile excess mileage charge. 5 each net savings. See dealer for details.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
I tell you what, Mike Sando has been coming on our shows for a long time. Great guy, great writer with The Athletic. I almost feel bad bringing him in here because I don't know that he realizes what a landmine he's stepping into. You know, this has been obviously as part of the cover.
I can take it.
I know you can, Mike. I just feel like I should give you a heads up. As part of the Cover 7 in The Athletic, Mike Sando writes about quarterbacks every Thursday. By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. And yesterday, Mike wrote about Brock Purdy. Mike Sando joins us. How are you, Mike? It's great to talk with you again. Fascinating piece yesterday on Brock Purdy. Have you ever seen a quarterback who's been discussed this way, this deep into his career? There's so many people that love him and so many people that aren't sure about him yet.
Yes, I have. I wrote about the other one. It was the exact same thing with Dak Prescott in 2016. It's exactly the same. I mean, Prescott comes into the Cowboys. They got 3 all-pro offensive linemen. They got Jason Witten, Des Bryant, Zeke Elliott's leading the league in rushing, and he comes out gangbusters. He goes 9-1, 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and people were like, "Oh, this Prescott guy's good." But man, the 49ers didn't even want him. They tried to draft Paxton Lynch. I mean, can this guy really be this good? How do you know when there's such good players around him? And here we are with Brock Purdy. They didn't really want him, right? They wanted Trey Lance. And yet now he's doing great through 10 games. They're 10-0, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But, they got that Christian McCaffrey. Kyle Shanahan's an amazing play caller. You got George Kittle. You got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, how much of it really is him anyway? What would it look like if he was on a bad team? And we're 10 games in. It looks pretty good. He's really answered every test there is that he could have. There's nothing really else he could do beyond what he's done, right? He's aced the test. And the question is, when the test gets a little harder, do you keep acing it? And we'll find out.
Mike Sando, I tell you what, man, you must have talked to me last week because I've been saying the exact words here every single day on this show, and Niners fans are killing me for it. When you say, he could be like Dak Prescott, because we've seen this before, is that a knock? Like, to me, that's not a knock. Like, 49ers fans want to take it as we're criticizing him. Or I said I need to see more from Brock Purdy. When the going gets tough, that's what I want to see. But they're taking it as sort of some sort of criticism or knock.
Yeah, I don't think so. For me, I'm not invested in the team as a fan, so I'm just sort of putting it out there. I did have fun with the idea of the fact that they just knocked the socks off Dallas with Prescott. People are down on Dak. They think he's not good now. And so to have Brock Purdy compared to him does feel like a slight of Brock Purdy. And I knew that going in. That's why I think the first lead of the story was like, forgive the comparison here, because we're not trying to take a shot. It was really... I didn't cook this up thinking – I didn't think of Prescott at all. I went and looked statistically. I was just trying to find, hey, who's won about this many games in their first 10? Like, who's just lit it up? And he was the one that came up that was recent, and I thought, geez, I remember that. They were loaded. No one gave Dak any due, and then pretty soon, within 4 or 5 years, he's signing a $40 million deal. So that's a success story. Now, obviously, he's been injured. I think he's not as good as he used to be, and he stagnated a little bit. That doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen to Brock Purdy. We shouldn't say that. I think at the same time, we should take into account that, hey, it's early and it's been sensational. But, Jimmy Garoppolo was 8-2 in his first 10 starts, and passed for more yards with 10 more explosive pass completions, also had more interceptions. It's always a fun discussion to have. But
I love it, Mike.
You say this about Purdy, like, what has Purdy – there's nothing Purdy shown that makes you think he can't be a success long term.
Right. And just to, clarify, one of the reasons some people think that Kyle is hard on Brock Purdy is because 2 weeks ago, Kyle came out and said, I apologize for what I said about Brock Purdy. He's better than I thought. You actually said
no,
that.
I did.
Did you not?
I did say it because, Mike, I compared him sort of to Lynn Sanity in the NBA, Jeremy Lin. The Knicks fans loved him. He had a good month or two run, and then he came crashing back down to earth. I actually don't think Brock Purdy is Lynn Sanity. I think he is a good quarterback, but the fact remains, and reading your article, the quotes you had from several defensive coaches, I want to read this one. This is one that, really stood out to me. One defensive coach said, you will see Purdy. He will crow hop. He will get the ball out there. It's not always pretty, but there are a lot of layups. And that was my point, because of Kyle Shanahan's system, because of the talent on that team, he hasn't had to, fit it into tight corners as much. He has guys running free out there in that secondary, I feel, a lot.
And he does. Now, to the counter to that is he's such a quick decision maker and good decision maker that he does throw the ball with anticipation too. So sometimes he's throwing that ball and the receiver hasn't even turned around.
Right.
And if you can do that, and if you're seeing everything clearly, you can do that when they're covered too, as long as the defender has their back to you. So I think there's some real encouraging signs along that way. Like, he seems to know what to do. He seems to make the right decision. He may have great choices because there's guys open, but like, you don't ever really watch him and go, ooh, you're not going, oh, wrong decision.
Right.
Now, when we watched Jordan Love or Jimmy Garoppolo in that game the other night, you're like, what was he looking at? I mean, he threw it right to the guy on the other team.
Right.
That just doesn't happen with Brock Purdy. We don't really see that evidence. And so, I think when we do see him trailing or in 2-minute situations, heck, he may thrive because he seems to be a cool customer and not be flustered by it, but we still haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, that's where the comparison to Jimmy Garoppolo breaks down. Mike Sando from The Athletic is with us. And Jimmy, yes, he did some wonderful things as a 49er, but he also was prone to those moments in the middle of a game where what was he looking at? And we haven't seen that from Brock Purdy, at least not yet. But I wanted to ask you, Mike, because I know you're talking all the time to people who evaluate quarterback talent for a living. Are there some talent evaluators who are just never going to see Brock as truly an elite quarterback because he doesn't have an elite arm?
I think there's some of that initially in the evaluation. So, when I do the quarterback tiers every year, right? Tier 1, Tier 2. The most of the Tier 1 guys are different physically, right? It's Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow in terms of how he throws the ball, although he's not absolutely just off the charts in terms of physical prowess like some of those guys. But they're guys, if you put together the highlights of their throws, there'd probably be more wow throws than a Brock Purdy, right? Where you'd go, oh my gosh, how did he do that? That being said, for many years, Drew Brees was a Tier 1 quarterback. And Drew Brees was not on the level of Drew Brees' highlight reel is not the same as Mahomes's or Justin Herbert's, right? Those guys who they make a throw that's impossible. Like no one else can do it. Across the field on a rope. That's probably not going to be Purdy, but it doesn't mean that he can't have success like those guys do. And I think Drew Brees is the example that gets brought up a lot when you have a guy who's maybe not as sensational physically, but makes good decisions quickly, seems to be accurate, seems to process well. And then if you're good in the other areas, like you're just really driven and you really are going to work at it and you have a way with your teammates, those are kind of some boxes that Purdy seems to check, right? He has to prove it over more than 10 games, but I think you got to be pretty optimistic.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. And when I look at your article, one thing you pointed out, which could be true, we're waiting to see Brock Purdy in these difficult situations, having to lead his team down the field in the last 2 minutes, what have you. That might not happen. He may not even have to do that at all for this team to win the Super Bowl, Mike.
That's true. That's really true. And I went back and looked at the last 10 Super Bowl winners. They actually didn't have a lot of times in the playoffs when they were way, behind late and had to do it. So, I think the key for the 49ers will be, like all of these teams, and then keep your guys healthy, right? Just don't be losing the wrong guys at the wrong time and make it too hard on yourself. If this team goes in to the playoffs like they are right now, I mean, you would like them over where Kansas City is right now, probably, right? I mean, you'd be feeling pretty good about where they're at. So I think it's exciting, actually, kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a great piece in The Athletic. It was yesterday, Mike Sando, as part of the Cover 7. Mike, before we let you go, 49ers look like they're catching a break this week. Looks like they're going to have P.J. Walker under center for the Browns. Do we know what's going on with Deshaun Watson? Is it just a matter of, hey, he's needing a little extra time to recover from this injury? Yeah. Or are people there starting to wonder about why he's not playing yet?
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone there in the building or on that team that I know of is worried about that. I think there's been a little bit of, I don't know if their communication's been the smoothest on it, because I think they did think that he might play, but it has to come down to him. He's like not throwing, and then he goes to a workout to throw, and that's the only time you really find out if he can do it. And so I think they've shown in those workouts, like, I think one of them was even on video, a pregame one. It was like, there was no way, if you watched him throw, he can't do it. So I don't think there's this is one of those situations where he's got nothing to gain by, it's not like he's looking for a new contract or there's anything like that. I think he's been a tough guy, and I think if he could play, he'll play. And it's been kind of a week-to-week deal where he tests it out, and it just doesn't seem like it's ready to go. So, tough for them, because I think if he was playing, it would be a nice little measuring stick for everybody.
Mike Sando, thank you, Mike. Enjoy the games this weekend. We appreciate it. Great stuff as always in The Athletic, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Now, are you feeling better about Brock Purdy now that Mike's kind of educated a little bit? Like, hey, this guy's really good.
I feel like what I've been saying all along has been validated by someone objective who's not wearing 49ers colors when they go to bed at night, And so shout out to Mike Sando. He's been back. He said he backed up everything I've been saying.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Outside of the Eagles, yeah, they are Super Bowl favorites. Jay Johnson in my ear. Niners are yeah. So what? Right now, week 6, but as you know, Jay, you don't win the Super Bowl in October. You don't win the Super Bowl in October. Now, if they go into Philly and win October in December 3rd, week 13, then I'm gonna anoint them as the favorites. Right now, come on, man.
Jay says, and I'm sure some Niner fans feel the same way. Other Niner fans feel like I'm letting you off the hook, but I'm just letting it percolate. And we're keeping receipts. That's all good.
Exactly. Yeah. That's you know what? We could do all this talking right now, Niners fans, Whitey, Jay, whoever, but ultimately it will be decided on the field. And December 3rd is the date. I'm telling you, that game is going to matter for home field advantage. And whoever has home field advantage is going to the Super Bowl between the Niners and the Eagles.
You have moved the goalposts on Brock Purdy a little bit.
Yeah, right? Because more information has come in. I said he's not Jeremy Lin. He's more of an Uber driver, gets you from point A to point B pretty safe. He's that safe Uber driver. He's like the Allstate commercial. That's the guy you want because you're safe when you're with Brock Purdy.
We unfortunately have to take a timeout. Even more unfortunately, we have to talk more about Philly because James Harden spoke to the media today. Hear what he had to say when we come right back on The Drive, guys. Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned them down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift to be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make 500 million be? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Friday forecast will include a mix of sun and clouds, light southwesterly winds, temperatures this afternoon falling shy of average, topping out in the upper 70s. You can get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has a selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain. As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
This is Dr. Pamela Maida, a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
Children especially benefit from arch supports as a sturdy and supportive foundation for their developing feet. If your kids have pain, then I recommend Youth Arch Supports from the Good Feet store.
Youth Arch Supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain in the feet, knees, hip, or back. If your child is physically active with sports, clubs, or even on the playground, they may benefit from the comfort and support found in Good Feet Youth Arch Supports.
I firmly believe that investing in Youth Arch Supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make to support their feet.
See how Youth Arch Supports can help with a free arch support fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
We're brought to you this hour by the NorCal Sportsman Show, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. I'm Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, getting ready to bring us play-by-play Kings and Warriors on Sunday. So I know you were out at practice.
Yeah, checked out practice today. Got to, see the entire practice from start to finish. And, one thing I could tell when I watch the guys play and I listen to the coaches, they're not happy with the way the preseason has started either. We talked about it yesterday. Is there cause for concern or anything like that? I don't think so. But it's clear that this team is not clicking the way they want to be. And I saw that a little bit in practice today. They were going hard. There was like a little edge to them to an extent. You know how, when things just are, you wake up a little ornery, you're not.
They haven't looked competitive.
Right. Yeah. They haven't looked great. And so I thought, at practice today, you saw a team that knows that they have some work to do. They need to improve. And they weren't happy with those first two games.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think they need to show against the Warriors? Just it shouldn't be a problem against the Warriors, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't be, right? You don't need to get up for that. You see that uniform on the floor, that blue and gold, or
back home.
Yeah, back home in front of your home fans. And so I want to see them. Who knows if Steph and those guys will play, but it shouldn't matter, because it's all about what the Kings do. And, if I'm Mike Brown, I want to see a high level of competition, a compete level. The shots may not always fall. I don't need to see 30 threes go in or 22 threes go in or anything. I don't care about that. I want to see them fight each possession. I want to see them, come out and play hard, And so it'll be interesting to see some of the lineups, with Keegan Murray was out last game. Looks like he's going to play this Sunday. He had the wrap on at practice again, and it's something he may have to play through again with the wrap on. But I want to see the rotations. I want to see the units that Mike Brown. But ultimately, I just want to see a team that has a desire to win, a killer instinct, if you will. You know what? You're coming into my building. There's no way you're leaving here with a W. That's what I want to see come Sunday.
We know this team wants to win desperately, but for some reason, through 2 preseason games, that hasn't translated onto the floor, and that's nothing to panic about or get overly upset about in the preseason. But still, that's something that should be there. There's certain things that should be there every night. The shooting's not going to be there every night,
right.
But that level of competitiveness that you would think, no matter what you're playing, the preseason, regular season, that should be there. And frankly, through the first couple of games, it hadn't really been there. So that's something that, hey, that needs to show up Sunday night.
Yeah, and if you want to be a contender, you want to be a great team, you want to be a team that competes for multiple championships, you have to have that inner desire, and I don't want to see this Sacramento Kings team just be happy with last season, still fat and happy off that. We had a great year, 48 wins. It's what have you done for me lately? We've turned the page on that. This is a new year. And so I want to see the same hunger that we saw last season this year with this Kings team.
Didn't you, and I know you spend a lot more time around the team than I do, but didn't you feel on media day, you could feel that confidence and that excitement about getting going coming off of the players? And there was, to a man, it was, yeah, we lost last year. We're ready to go. We love being in the playoffs. We want to do that every year.
Yeah. I saw that confidence, but confidence can be something that,
almost like a narcotic.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, and then you find yourself 20 games in. Oh, we're still confident, but then you're 8-12. Like, you got to have confidence and the drive and the desire that goes with it. And that's why the great players are so great. Steph Curry could have been happy with one championship. LeBron could have been happy. Jordan, Kobe, all those guys. But what made them so special is that they came back the next year with that same hunger and same desire. Let's, remember that this Kings team is a young team. They aren't used to winning. And so it's their first taste of winning, first taste of fans, patting them on the back, falling in love. And you got to realize, it's that the honeymoon phase is sort of over. It's like you got to keep, grinding, keep working hard at it. And so that's what I think Mike Brown wants to see from his team.
Yeah, it's one thing to know it. It's another thing to be able to do it.
Yeah, you got to actually do it. Yeah.
By the way, the great Jerry Reynolds is going to join us today about 4:30. So we'll get Jerry's thoughts on the preseason so far. I'm guessing Jerry's not too upset about how they played so far.
Nah. Right? Hey, Jerry's been around the block a few times. He's, I'll tell you what, though. He will tell us exactly what he's seeing, though.
Yes.
He will, break it down from a coach's eye, if you will, what's happening with this Kings team these first couple of games.
Yeah, so Jerry joins us at 4:30. Preseason often is forgettable. I want to ask Jerry about the most unforgettable preseason thing he ever saw, and I'm guessing he may go back to when he saw Pete Maravich and Julius Erving as teammates one preseason.
Ooh.
Yeah, so every so often he dusts that one off. I may
okay.
have to Yeah, one of my favorite Jerry stories. So anyway, we'll see. Jerry can always surprise us with answers. He often does. He joins us at 4:30. Now today, this is something that could have an impact on the NBA season. James Harden met with the media, made his first public comments in Philadelphia since rejoining the team. So where's this now, Kyle Draper? You're a Philly guy. Everything, they're ready to go? Everybody's back on the same page?
Yeah, it's kumbaya.
Is it?
It's a family affair out there in Philly. Heck no. This is James Harden's first time, talking to the media since saying that he would never play for Daryl Morey again, called him a liar. And, he was asked today, he met with reporters. He said his plan is to play basketball for sure. But then when asked directly whether he thought things could get patched up with Daryl Morey, he said, no, this is not even about this situation. This is in life. So he doesn't trust him. Forget about basketball. He just doesn't trust him as a person anymore. And so I don't know where this will go. James Harden sort of likened it like a marriage. When there's trust lost in a marriage, you can't get that back. It may take years, but James Harden, I don't think he has years. I think he's still ready to leave Philadelphia.
Let's hear from the Beard himself, James Harden, today, meeting with the media, talking about how, when he was traded to Philly and how he's been treated since.
Just to the fans, man, it's just appreciate the support and love, and it's just definitely a difficult time. But for me, it's just trusting, people that you've known over a decade. When I got traded here, my whole thing was I wanted to retire a Sixer. I wanted to be here and retire a Sixer, and front office didn't have that in their future plans. So it's literally out of my control. It's something that I didn't want to happen, and it's just to be in this position. But I got to make a decision for my family. I understand this is a business. So it's just as simple as that. I come here today, I work my butt off, and do the things necessary as a professional as I would do and as I've been doing for 15 years.
I don't know. That's a little all over the place.
Yeah,
He tries it's as simple as this. Simple as what? What are you? Do you want to be there or not? It's almost like I wanted to be there, but I don't anymore, and that's not my fault.
Yeah,
that's really what he's saying.
Yeah, I wanted to be there, but I think what I heard is that he feels like the organization didn't want to commit to him. And so one thing that James Harden did, and I think it boils down to his contract situation too. Remember, he took a little less to return to the Sixers before last season, I think it was. And either A, he was expecting a massive contract, max kind of deal that was never offered, or B, he was expecting some sort of trade. So far, neither has happened. And so in his eyes, what it sounds like to me is, you know what? I took this team-friendly deal, because you guys promised me X, Y, and Z, and now you're backing on that promise. You haven't lived up to that promise. And so I wish he would just play basketball, because him and Embiid, they've proven they can be successful. Sure, they've had their shortcomings in the postseason, but, this roster is good enough to compete in that Eastern Conference. And so if I'm Philly, I'm trading him. I think because your priority is Joel Embiid and making sure he's happy. The last thing you would want is James Harden around being a malcontent, costing the team games or what have you. And then Joel Embiid becomes pissed off and says, you know what? I gave it 10 years or whatever. It's time for me to go also. And so, they need to do whatever it takes to placate Joel Embiid and surround him with talent.
More from James Harden. Is there any way the relationship between he and Daryl Morey can be repaired? Here's what the Beard had to say.
I think that you and had a relationship for 10 years. Do you think this is something that can be repaired?
No.
And why? Why is that?
When you, and it's not even, this is not even about this situation. This is in life. Like when you lose trust in someone, it's like a marriage. Like you lose trust in someone, it's like how, So, it's pretty simple.
So where's James Harden going to go? As he says, it's out of his hands. What happens now? What impact is that going to have on the rest of this NBA season? We're right back with that. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockrell with the Retirement Security Centers with the Weekly Economic Update. It's Friday the 13th. Should investors watch out for black cats, avoid walking under ladders, and throw salt over their left shoulder today? How do stock market investors fare on Friday the 13th? Fridays are typically a lucky day for investors, coming in at the best performing day of the week, positive 54.6% of the time. This wasn't the case on Friday, October 13th, 1989, deemed Black Friday, where the S&P 500 fell 6.12%. October is typically a winning month for stocks, up 0.9% higher on average. What a difference a year makes. 30-year mortgage rates started 2022 at 3.22% and have climbed to as much as 8.4% currently, with the average monthly payment growing from $1,400 in January 2022 to $2,317 currently. With 2023 quickly coming to a close, will potential home buyers find better luck soon? How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisor.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a deal going on right now that you cannot miss. This summer was much shorter and cooler than normal, so that means Good Guys is overstocked and ready to clear out their warehouse. They've got inflation-busting pricing on a brand new heating and air system for just $82.99. No other company is offering a replacement system that low. Call Good Guys now at 530-GOOD-AIR to see if you qualify. That's 530-GOOD-AIR for a no-cost qualification appointment. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057-618.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
When every shot counts, the professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio encourage you to try the brand new Titleist T-Series irons. Irons designed to enhance your play through control, distance, flight, forgiveness, looks, sound, and feel. With 4 T-Series models, the fitting team at Hagen Oaks will find the perfect Titleist T-Series iron for you. Call 916-808-2531 to find your fit today. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for all your favorite models at low prices and payments, plus low finance rates and 0 down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
What is this, Nirvana Friday? Drive Guys? Whitey Gleason? Kyle Draper? Is this your deal, Nirvana? You a big Nirvana guy?
I got a few Nirvana songs here on the phone. Yeah, I like what, Smells Like Teen Spirit, the album. Yeah, I like Nirvana. Not wrong with Nirvana.
No. I was just wondering. I think that's a couple Nirvana we play. Nirvana's tremendous. Yeah. Your drummer ended up going on doing some pretty cool things. Mm-hmm. What is James Harden going to end up doing, Kyle Draper? He says, I can't. This is not fixable. He still wants out. First of all, you seem to be of the opinion that the Sixers will have to trade him.
I think so. To me, this is sort of like the Dame Lillard situation in Portland. Dame wanted out and wanted to go to Miami. Well, Miami didn't have the best package. So Portland GM Joe Cronin said, you're not going to strong arm us into sending you where you want to go. James Harden wants to go to the Clippers. The Sixers say you need to sweeten that pot. We need more than what you're offering. And so now it's a little cat and mouse game. Who's going to, back down first? Is it going to be James Harden? Is he going to come play and be a good employee, good soldier out there? Or is it going to be the Sixers and they take pennies on a dollar? And so right now it's a game of chicken going on. I do ultimately think that if you're Daryl Morey and you're the Sixers, your goal is to compete for a championship. And so while it may hurt your ego, bruise your ego, you may take less. It might be addition by subtraction by getting rid of the headache that's James Harden. Mm-hmm. And so I think if I'm running things, I'm acquiescing. I'm saying, all right, James, we will look for a trade partner for you. There are a lot of teams out there with, great assets, but the problem is James Harden, his value is so low right now. He forced his way out of Houston. He forced his way out of Brooklyn. Now he's looking to force his way out of Philadelphia. And, we had this discussion earlier this offseason, should the Kings kick the tires? No, you don't want a guy like that coming in and ruining what you have. No! Right? And so let's say
don't even say that, Kyle.
What if you're OKC, White? What if you're OKC? James Harden and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as your backcourt.
No, I'm building something in OKC. I'm building, we talk about a character, a foundation, culture. James Harden, clearly, he's about the culture of James Harden. Bless him. That's fine. Right. We don't need that. Kings don't need that. OKC doesn't need that.
Orlando, whatever young team that you're trying to develop, he has to go to somewhere that's ready to win now and has a strong veteran leadership. I look at the Clippers as a logical, it makes sense. I don't see any other team out there that would actually make sense for James Harden other than getting his act together and returning to the Sixers, because it can work if they get all, over all this, emotional stuff that's going on.
Howard Beck, he says that the Clippers have some interest.
Yes.
And he speculated, so this is just his educated opinion. Howard Beck said 3 other teams that could be interested could be the Nets, the Bulls, and this one makes me laugh, the Miami Heat. They couldn't get Dame, and could they end up with James Harden, who, again, Heat culture is this way. James Harden,
right? That's the thing.
It's almost the polar opposite.
Yeah, I think from a basketball standpoint, it intrigues me a little bit, because if you're the Miami Heat, you lose out on James Harden. I mean, on Dame Lillard. what's your plan B? Is it just running back? I know you went to the finals.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and so it makes sense from a basketball standpoint, but from a culture standpoint, the thing you hear about Miami is everybody's on the same page. They're a bunch of grinders. They're overachievers, if you will. James Harden historically has underachieved in his career. In the biggest of moments, the playoffs, he sort of turtled. And so I don't know if it would fit. And why would Brooklyn go down that route again? It just Chicago's intriguing for this reason. They are a mediocre team.
They're kind of desperate.
They're desperate. They got to shake it up, right? They got to do something. And so if I'm Philly, if I can get a Zach LaVine somehow for James Harden, I would do that in a heartbeat.
The Bulls seem determined to double down on this notion that if we find the right aging superstar, we'll turn the corner that way.
Yeah.
They don't want to commit to a rebuild, so they're staying with this. We'll get another veteran. I could see them doing that too, and I don't think that would work either. I think their coach is not going to last long, and I'm not saying it's his fault.
Billy Donovan out there?
Yeah. I just don't think things haven't been coming together there since he's been there. Not his fault, but they got to start somewhere. They're trying to fix things.
And it's clear because when you look at Chicago, have they really upgraded their roster in the last few? Like, it just seems like every year they're just running it back. And so to your point, if you're not going to change the players, well, heck, you got to change the coaching staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe Billy Donovan is somebody to watch if they get off to a slow start. I still don't understand why they're so bad. Like, why aren't they a better team? Because you look at the names, LaVine, DeRozan, Vucevic. Like, that's a pretty good nucleus. But for some reason, the sum of the parts, their total doesn't equal up to the sum of the parts.
To me, Vucevic and LaVine are great examples of what they are. Those are both pretty good players, but are they really great players?
Right.
LaVine, to me, is better than Vucevic. You look at him, it's like, man, this guy's tremendous.
Puts up numbers.
And it's like, yeah, but his teams don't ever really do anything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the Bulls are.
If I'm Philly, I'm making a run at Zach LaVine. I think you got Tyrese Maxey, Zach LaVine, and Joel Embiid. That's a pretty, because then, LaVine becomes arguably your number 3, if Maxey keeps trending upward. I mean, that would be a potent squad, I think.
Yeah. See, that's what he is, that the Bulls have a handful of guys and maybe none of them are true number 1s.
Yeah.
DeRozan's close, but then if you have a bunch of number 3s, you don't have any number 1s, you end up being, okay. I think I know the answer to this question. If James Harden really is feeling like, hey, they promised me something. If I did this, they promised me that, but they didn't deliver. Why doesn't he just come out and say that? I think it's because you're not allowed
to make those kind of promises, right? Yeah, those kind of side deals.
He's not allowed to agree to that.
Exactly. I think because then it gets into that slippery slope. Like, you got side deals left and right going on. And so that seems to be what's happening, but nobody can come out and actually say it.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break. When we come right back to the 49ers. 2 big reasons the Cleveland Browns, believe it or not, say they're ready for the 49ers. Drive Guys on a Friday. Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
I want you to want me.
Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville presents Cheap Trick live Saturday, October 21st. Get your tickets now at goldcountrycasino.com. Cheap Trick, October 21st at 8 p.m.
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
I love being a bartender. I love waiting tables. But at the end of my shift, my feet were killing me. And so I had to pretend like I was having a good time. And really, I couldn't wait to sit down. But it wasn't just my feet. It was also my knees were achy. A lot of neck pain, too. I was in so much pain. I kind of lost hope, really. And then I saw the Good Feet store, and that's when everything changed.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Kristen enjoy their work again without their feet getting in the way.
It was pretty shocking to realize that I'd been in so much pain, and suddenly I'm completely pain-free. Now that I have the Good Feet arch supports, I don't have to pretend to be happy. I'm genuinely happy. So, cheers. My name is Kristen, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for Jeep Adventure Days?
With gas prices skyrocketing, good gas mileage is more important now than ever. And right now, you can save up to $11,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S 4xe plug-in hybrid.
But what about hauling the family around?
Well, save even more with up to $14,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited 4xe plug-in hybrid. Great mileage and big savings on one of America's most loved SUVs.
These deals can't last long, so hurry in to Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole selection at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period. $11,000 total Wrangler 4xe net savings on lease only after $8,500 factory rebates and $2,500 dealer discount. $14,000 total Grand Cherokee 4xe net savings on lease only after $11,500 factory rebates and $2,500 dealer discount. Lease options subject to credit approval. Not everyone will qualify. Rebates include $7,500 federal tax credit rebates. Subject to change without notice. 5 at each net savings. See dealer for details.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. It's the Drive Guys.
Here are your hosts,
Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
Hey, how about that?
Is that new?
Yeah.
Is that
brand new?
I'm like, hold on here.
Brand new, shiny new. Yeah,
I love
Kyle
it.
Draper is getting ready to do the Kings and the Warriors on Sunday night. So the big question, Kyle, and not to put any pressure on you, but I think we're all wondering which of the people that contributed in the chat here are you going to mention during your telecast?
Oh, you want me to? I'll tell you who I'm telling you who I'm not going to mention. My boy Campio. He came into the chat throwing darts at me. He's like, "Has Draper hated on Brock Purdy yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did actually in the first couple minutes." And so definitely not that. I need people that show me love. I'm gonna show you love on the radio and on TV. That's what I'm about. Okay. Campio ain't one of them. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I thought you would. Especially being a Philly guy, you would respect that. He brings it. He tells you what he's really thinking and feeling.
No, right? I get it, but when his opinions and thoughts on things are wrong, I'm not going to vibe with that. You know what I mean? His takes are wrong takes. So why would I hype him up?
All right, so it's still wide open.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Or who knows? Maybe Kyle will choose a Comment of the day. No, we're just kidding. We know you got a ton of things to get
I'm a
ready for.
professional. I would never do something like that.
You got to be excited about getting your first call of the year for the Kings and the Warriors.
Yeah, I am. And, just like the players, what I'm most excited about is being back in the building with the fans. To be honest with you, feeling that energy from the fan base, feeling the venom towards the Warriors. I would like nothing more than to just sit there and absorb, the Golden One atmosphere. That's what I missed these last 5 months or so. It's just being around my people at the arena, seeing the ushers, seeing the security guys, seeing some of the workers behind the scenes. When you walk in there, it's sort of like a family reunion every night. Now, I haven't seen these guys in like 5.5 months, so I'm excited.
My guy, Sean Rogers, your security guy.
Oh,
him?
Yeah.
I went to grammar school with him.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. We played basketball against each other.
Let me ask you this, real quick. Do they say grammar school anymore? Or is it elementary? Or what's
elementary school?
What's grammar school? What's the age? Is that K through
6?
6? Okay. All right.
I
just wasn't sure. Or is it K through
elementary
8,
school? Because there's middle school.
I'm just
grammar
saying.
School.
No, but I'm trying to educate myself, because when people say grammar school, is that everything up to high school?
No,
or is that K through 5 or something like
I
that?
thought it was through 6, then you got
through
middle
6,
school,
and then you got middle
and
school,
you got high school.
All right, you learn something new every day. I'm not trying to mock you or come at you. I needed to know just for myself, right?
He was with the 49ers briefly. I mentioned that.
Yeah.
A, it's very impressive.
Yep.
B, we got the 49ers and the Browns this week. And the Cleveland Browns, they say they're ready for the 49ers. Can you imagine that? I mean, the undisputed favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. Undisputable. Not only undisputed, but undisputable. And they say they're ready for him.
See, I don't like this if I'm Cleveland. I get it. You may feel that inside, but this sounds an awful lot like Dallas leading up to that game. It's going to be a war. It's a big game. We're going to be ready for it. And then you get smacked upside the head. And so I don't like it if I'm Cleveland. Show respect, obviously, to them. But I would say you're not hearing that from the Niners. The Niners aren't saying it's going to be Shanahan gave them some love. It's going to be the toughest test or anything like that. But it sounds like to me this is Cleveland's Super Bowl, right?
Even the great 49er teams, they never went there.
Right.
Like Ronnie Lott and those guys they would bend over backwards to praise the other team.
Right.
And then they would destroy them.
We'll be ready for them. We're going to give them our best. It's just, just be quiet. It's going to be a great football game. We've been working hard. They've been working hard. And, I feel like, the Browns, it's sort of like they're trying to hype themselves up, make themselves believe that they're going to be ready.
I've told this story before, and please correct me or stop me if I've told it to you. Right before the 49ers played the Dolphins in the Super Bowl, remember Mark Clayton, Mark Duper?
Yeah.
They were talking about how they were going to torch the 49ers, and there was a big scrum, a pre-Super Bowl week, media day, whatever it was. And so there's all the 49ers are there. And I walked right up to Ronnie Lott, who was sitting there. Ronnie, Duper, Clayton, they say they're going to destroy you guys way better than your secondary. What do you think of that? And he looked at me and he goes, they're probably right. And he said, there, you look at the yards they put up, blah, 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 blah. Totally, straight face. And then you saw what happened during the game.
Exactly.
That's old school now. Not a lot of teams do that, but I think there's a lot to be said for that approach.
Well, here's the thing. If you really believe it, you don't have to say it. If you're Cleveland, if you really believe you're going to be ready, if you really believe you got a shot to win, you don't have to tell anybody. And so, this Browns defense, we know how great it is. It's going to be great. But they just can't score enough points to keep up with the Niners. I've said it. 17 points might be able to get it done. I just don't see how the Browns move the ball this week.
Grant Delpit is a Browns safety. Grant Delpit. He said they've got to see us at the end of the day. They're coming to our house. Like I've said before, they're a great team right now. Their quarterback is playing probably the best in the league. That's a quote, by the way.
But keep on reading what he said.
And the scheme fits him.
Exactly.
They have a great defense. But like I said, man, they are riding their high horse right now. That's probably the best time to get them. I guess, everybody's got to lose eventually.
Right.
I don't know if this is the best time to be playing the 49ers.
Yeah, and the thing about it, I don't know if the 49ers are arrogant or, coming off that way. Like, so I don't get that vibe from the team.
No.
Like, they feel like they're better than everybody else. They're arrogant or anything. The fan base, yes, the fan base feels that way, but I don't get that vibe from the team.
Right.
The team is going about their business week in and week out.
It's almost wishful thinking.
Yeah.
They're riding their high horse. Well, they're not acting that way. They're just playing
Right,
well.
they're just playing well.
Yeah.
They're not talking trash, even though Kittle did, but that was after the game. They're not going in thinking they're going to steamroll any, or at least talking about steamrolling. They've shown nothing but respect, I think, for their opponent so far. Kyle Shanahan talking about this matchup this week, saying Cleveland is going to be the toughest team we've played so far this season. And so, like I said, I think it's the Browns just trying to geek themselves up a little bit, fire themselves up.
Yeah, Delpit said they're a great team right now. Nobody has been able to stop them. They don't turn the ball over a lot. They get a lot of takeaways. They have a unique scheme on offense. We run a similar defense to them that they run, so they've seen it before. It's going to be a war. We're ready for it.
They're doing too much talking, Whitey.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Denzel
Play
Ward
the
said, I
game.
think we match up well. So they think they match up well, and they think the 49ers are riding their high horse, so they're getting them at a good time. That's a really interesting point that Delpit made.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers have practiced against this defense a lot because it's the defense they run.
Right.
And you can't tell me that the Browns run it that much better than the 49ers. So that's not an advantage.
That's not an advantage,
for
right?
Cleveland.
They've been working on this all week, and all season long. And so I just think, these are the two top defenses in the NFL. And the only way the Browns have a shot, and we talked off air about this, is if Brock Purdy has one of those games where he struggles. Like he comes back down to earth a little bit. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm not saying that.
This would be the type of game where, honestly, it would make sense.
And what's the weather going to be out there in Cleveland? I'm going to have to look that up.
And it could be soggy.
Yeah, if it's soggy a little bit, you're going to have to, if you're the Browns, you're going to have to turn the Niners over 2 or 3 times, I think. Give your offense a short field. Keep their offense off the field as well. It got to be a ball possession kind of game if you're the Browns. But they're doing too much talking for me, And I know reporters are going into the locker room asking questions as part of media availability. But, man, it's I think we match up well. It's going to be a war. We're ready for it. It's like, dude, we're talking about a football game, man. Calm down.
Yeah, that's sometimes that sounds like too much. Like you don't even believe it. Good
Right,
for you.
right.
You're trying to talk yourself out of the notion that we got no chance in this game. You know how quickly things change. Correct me if I'm wrong, 49er fan. I think the last time the 49ers were in Cleveland, I think they lost to Johnny Manziel.
Really?
Yeah. And that was around 2050. Maybe they've been back there since, but I think that's the last time the 49ers were in Cleveland. I think Johnny Manziel beat them.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
Do you think the Browns have a shot?
A little bit, because their defense is so good, and especially if the conditions are such that it's hard to get offensive traction. You know what I mean? Don't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably their only best chance, but it's not a very large one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the weather report right now. 55 and sunny.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sunny. 55 and rainy.
Okay.
On Sunday, it's looking like out there.
So, you know, if you're the Browns, it's like we talk all the time in basketball. And you know this better than I do. Basketball, you playing a better team. You want to limit possessions and slow it down. And so that's what the Browns have to do with P.J. Walker. You want to see a game manager? You watch P.J. Walker this week.
But the problem is he doesn't have the weapons to be a game manager. There's no Nick Chubb out there,
I know.
And so if he had all his weapons, even if Deshaun Watson was playing, I would give the Browns a puncher's chance. But, you know, what was the line? 7 last time we checked. I've got to see if it's moved since then. To me, the Niners got to be a lock, right? Like
you would think.
And if you look at it, the Browns, too, they're coming off of scoring 3 points last time they played in that 28-3 loss to the Ravens. No Deshaun Watson. And so I just don't see how this offense moves the ball. Because look at it. The Cowboys offense, infinitely better than the Browns offense. And they couldn't do anything against this Niners defense. This Niners defense is clicking right now.
You know, the line would be higher but the 49ers are on the road. But the thing is, as we discussed last week, for most of the year, if not all the year, I don't know if it changed last weekend, the road teams have won more games than the home teams in the NFL this year.
Yeah, but that doesn't come into play this week, Whitey. It's, I know the line doesn't suggest this is a huge, discrepancy between these two teams.
You like those home dogs, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, you're going to go through. You like
but not this one. Not this one. I'll have to look up the lines, and I'll give you somebody I actually like. I like the Vikings last week. That didn't pan out
There's
for
one
me.
home dog I really like this week.
Really?
My Bears.
Oh, shoot.
But we'll get to that when we come back. Chiefs Broncos last night. The pregame was much more interesting than the game. And if you didn't hear it, we'll have it for you next year in the Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes, a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us. Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
I know people don't necessarily like to talk much baseball right now, and I understand that. It's the fall convergence, and we got basketball starting and hockey starting, and football's well underway, and the baseball postseason is raging on. But I did think last night, to me, watching your team, the Phillies, playing against the Braves, it was more interesting than the Thursday night football game, which was the Chiefs and then, those pathetic Broncos tearing up the middle of the field.
Yeah, it turned out to be, in terms of score, a competitive game. But like I said, I don't think anybody was ever worried that the Chiefs were going to lose. And the Broncos just aren't a fun team to watch right now. They're just not, entertaining.
Remember we were talking about when we left the air yesterday, we were talking about that spread 10.5 and it was 19-8. Interesting.
Oh, really? Yeah. See? So somebody in Vegas was on top of that. I think I probably would have taken the over, and so it would have just covered on that. Wow.
Mm-hmm. What was interesting about that telecast last night, it started in the pregame show, Steve Smith Sr., who I loved watching when he played.
Yes.
He was so tough. I felt like he was going to make any catch. He and Jerry Jeudy apparently have some kind of feud going. Steve Smith, I believe he explains it here, but this was Steve Smith Sr. Talking on the pregame show last night about Broncos receiver Jerry Jeudy and some friction between the two of them.
A short while ago, Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy was walking by, and Steve called out to him, and he got a different reaction.
I called out to him because on my podcast, Cut To It, I just talked about guys that maybe have not showed up in the way or in the manner. And so the word that I've used to describe him in the past was a jag, just a guy. Just a guy. And so when I saw him, he's playing well. I wanted to say to him face to face, like, hey, I know I said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. That's what I wanted to say to him. His response, Mike Robb and Bucky, was ninja.
Ninja.
Yes, I'm using the word ninja. I'm just using the word ninja. I don't mess with you. And it was a curse word. And so I was like, all right. And then he repeated it. So I'll say it again. I'm sorry that I said you were a jag, just a guy who's an average wide receiver that you use a first-round pick on that isn't doing anything. I hope today that you actually show up in a way that you haven't showed up in the last couple of years since they drafted you. So if you ever got a problem with Agent 89, I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver that they eventually will move on. And when teams called me and asking, should they trade for you? I will say no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver? He could be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Go back into the studio. I'm done now. Thank you.
He called him a tier 3. He called him a tier 3. Ouch.
Steve Smith Sr. and Mike Garofalo on the NFL Network Thursday night pregame show. And he literally did go back to studio. I'm out. Well played.
Well played. And, kudos to Steve Smith Jr., or Senior. He could have taken a more, what should I call it? Nuance. Yeah, but he was direct to the point, but he was very calm in his delivery, And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, oh, he's taking the high road. But then when you actually hear the words that he's saying, he's like taking shot after shot after shot at this guy. But to Steve Smith's point, Jerry Jeudy has been a disappointment in Denver. He's underachieved. Brandon Ayuk was drafted 10 spots after him in the 2020 draft. Brandon Ayuk, 20 touchdown receptions. Jeudy just 9. So Judy's just another guy right now.
And we have more. By the way, during that, and obviously you couldn't see it there.
Yeah.
But Jerry Jeudy was behind him at one point, and he was doing this crazy dance. I like Steve Smith Sr., but I'd also say, well, whatever Jerry Jeudy told you sounds like you're not handling it well either.
No, right.
He didn't handle that.
He was clearly upset. And no, you're right. I like it though, because if Jerry Jeudy's going to approach me like that, well, I got the big platform. I got the microphone. I got the national audience, and I'm going to use it.
Yeah. This was a post-game more from Steve Smith Sr.
I don't know if Russ saw Jerry Jeudy on that. Did you see him?
Listen, this is a time for me where when I used to play, I would engage, and I love that. But right now, I'm 44 years old. I don't need to have this drama, and I also don't need to have any problems on the sideline for me doing something that will jeopardize not just me, but him. And I'll be honest, and I have to say it just like this. One of the biggest problems we have in the media, especially as a young black man, is sometimes black on black crime. I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to engage where the national media can see 2 young African-American men acting like we ain't got no sense. He didn't like what I said, that's fine. I wanted to talk to him. He didn't like it, so we move on. But I'm one, I'm not going to lose my job, and 2, I'm not going to disrespect my family by showing that I have not matured and handle my business the way I should handle my business. We got a flight to catch to London. We got things to do. We ain't got time to be watching a dude do nothing.
You see, you had to get that last dig in there, right? I ain't got time for this. I'm going to take the high.
Good.
When they go low, I'm going to go high. I ain't got time to be dealing with this nobody.
Yeah,
basically, that's what he said.
Right. Like, we're going here. Everything's fine. Before I go.
Yeah.
I
love it. Steve Smith is a national treasure, man. It's but to his point, he tried to go over to Jeudy before the game and apologize for what he had said earlier about him, calling him just another guy. And Jeudy obviously,
which, by the way, isn't really that bad, and it was warranted.
Yeah, it was warranted, and and then last night Jeudy had a chance to do something about it. 3 catches, 14 yards. You look at the Broncos' numbers at receiver this season.
Well, he can't throw the ball to himself.
Yeah, he can. That's true. But when you look at the Broncos' receiving, Cortland Sutton, a better receiver. Marvin Sims, a better receiver as well. Jerry Jeudy's third on the team in receiving yards. This is a first-round pick, number 15 overall
tier
pick.
3? You're saying he's tier 3?
He's tier 3, right? I just pointed out this season he is tier 3 with this Broncos team.
I think we also have some brief comments from Jerry Jeudy himself on this whole situation.
Jerry, a little bit of drama before the game with Steve Smith Sr. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that right now.
Man, that was a tough loss, man. I feel like at the end of the game, I feel like we could have got there, but they had a good drive at the end.
Jerry, Steve Smith said he had some kind of conversation with you before the game. Did that not go well, or based on what he said on air on NFL Network?
I don't remember that. But like I said, it was a close game. We just got to finish at the end of the game.
That's a smart way
He
to play
took the
it.
high road.
Well,
Yeah.
also because he's overmatched.
Right. It's an argument or a debate or whatever confrontation he can't win.
Yeah, you can take the knife to the gunfight or just not
Right.
go anywhere
Or just
near the
not even,
fight.
I'm not even
Yeah.
going to engage in this. What happened, what happened. And the only way Jerry Jeudy can really come back at Steve Smith is to perform on the field. And like you say, he can't throw the ball to himself. And so he might be behind the 8 ball, all season long when it comes to this.
Do you think, will there be any ramifications, any fallout for Steve Smith?
Nah, heck no. I don't
the
think.
The best thing is he was honest. That's the,
right.
That's one of the things why people love like the show on TNT Inside the NBA, because those guys, all 4 of them,
right,
they're honest.
And, when you're in that role, there will come a time where you say something that players don't agree with. We've seen NBA players, Kevin Durant, most notably, disagree with what Charles Barkley, they have like a little bit of a feud. I mean, that just comes with the territory. And I do like the way that Steve Smith handled it, though. No curse words, no bad language, didn't call him anything really disrespectful. He's just another guy, which the numbers indicate. And so I like the way Steve Smith handled it. He walked that fine line, and I don't think he crossed it last night.
Just, boy, somebody should write a book about what a debacle this whole Denver season has been, huh? This would be an interesting, maybe not even a whole chapter, but part of a chapter, because this thing is going sideways every which way.
Yeah, and did you see what RG3, Robert Griffin III, tweeted out about the Broncos last night? He said the Broncos aren't playing to win football games. They're playing to win the blame game. That's what happens when Sean Payton comes in throwing shade at a Super Bowl winning QB, Russell Wilson, every chance he gets. The locker room will implode because no one in it believes the coach has their best interest at heart. And that goes back to what we said earlier in the show. If you're in that locker room, do you believe Sean Payton is the guy to lead you on this day?
Yeah, and where do they go from here? They've already started kind of dismantling it, getting rid of some of their more expensive defensive players.
Right.
So that's really a mess. They're in no man's land right now.
Right. They're in no man's land, and you can't trade Russell Wilson, not with that contract. His value is low right now, and so they're stuck. I mean, what are you going to do with Russ? Like, let's say you are tanking, for Caleb Williams or a May or somebody like that. Let's say you draft him. What do you do with Russell Wilson? You got to write a big check, to give him his guaranteed money and say goodbye. Like, they are stuck right now.
Yeah, nobody wants him. Yeah, trade him for James Harden.
Right.
Potential deal ruin there. When we come back, how this week's 49er foe has managed to just totally botch the most important position in sports. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award?
Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Friday forecast will include a mix of sun and clouds, light southwesterly winds, temperatures this afternoon falling shy of average, topping out in the upper 70s. You can get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Sky Rizzi, Risankizumab Rizza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you. And the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial #250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. At Elk Grove Honda, we include many benefits that a private seller just can't match. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection, and our certified pre-owned Hondas are under 5 years old. So you know you're getting the newest Hondas in prime condition. See our exceptional selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Get you ready for a big, Sacramento Sports Weekend Drive, guys, with the 49ers and the Browns playing Sunday. Hear that game here on Sactown Sports. And also we have the Kings and the Warriors preseason basketball Sunday. Kyle Draper's going to have the call on NBC Sports California. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could say there may be a little bit more at stake for the Kings than there typically is in a preseason game. They're playing the Warriors. That means a little extra something. Plus, the Kings at some point want to start playing better.
Yeah, exactly. If you're Sacramento, you can't be happy with what you've seen from your squad the last first 2 games of the preseason. And with a team with so much expectations, not just externally, but internally, you would like to see them sharpen things up. They take on the Warriors. If I'm correct, the Warriors play the Lakers tonight also. So keep an eye. If Steph and those guys play tonight, I don't know if they'll play on Sunday.
It's an ESPN game tonight, I think.
It is. Yeah. You look all dejected over there. You're like, national TV. I don't know if that applies during the preseason, though, this new
maybe not.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I know we touched on it yesterday, and we go round and around on it because of the way the league handles the load management question. You can get an ice cream headache, but it's just really weird how the league, as recently as last year's All-Star game, you had the commissioner saying, fans are fine with it. It's not, load management's not an issue. We're good. And then now you've got Joe Dumars in the league saying, players need to play every game.
Right.
How they did a 180 that quickly. And, the science is really not conclusive. And I read today, I think, who was it wrote a story today? David, anyway, somebody wrote a story in The Athletic quoting a coach as saying, there's a lot of evidence showing that the load management is beneficial to players, but the league just doesn't want to talk about
it.
Right.
They and the league is caught in between a rock and a hard place, because I get it. You got sponsors, you got fans, they pay to see LeBron, they pay to see all these big name guys. I get it. And if you're in the league, you want every single game to matter throughout the season. You want all the players out there always. You want, competitive games every single night. You want teams trying hard, no tanking or anything like that every single night. But that's not the reality in which we live in. And if you're a team that is trying to win a championship, let's say, and you need to make sure your star player is healthy, like LeBron James, for instance, who's 39 years old. Does he really need to play 82 games? I would argue, and Joe Dumars may say the science doesn't back it up, but the wear and tear, logging the minutes that that adds up. It's just common sense, right?
It sure is.
It's just common sense. And so
you don't need to do a study.
Right. You don't need to do a study on that. And so I'm not, I don't think it'll change much, to be honest with you, Whitey. These new league rules. I think guys will still find a way to get their rest in.
Yeah. By the way, it was David Aldridge.
Oh, yeah,
who wrote
DA.
the piece today. Yeah, absolutely. Before we get back to the 49ers, we were just talking about Steve Smith, and we heard the audio of Steve Smith going after Judy last night, Jerry Judy.
Yeah.
And so Jay raised an interesting question here during the break, and we're just wondering if Kyle Draper, broadcaster, has had any issues with players that he'd be willing to share with us here.
Not a whole lot, but I'll
question, Jay.
yeah, thanks, Jay, for coming with that.
He's producing.
Dude, I love telling stories because I got a million of them. Sort of like our guy, Jerry Reynolds, that we're going to talk to coming up in about an hour or so. But when I was in Boston, I used to do the pre and post game for the Celtics. And Marcus Morris Sr., who I'm actually a fan of, he's a Philadelphia guy, so we have that in common. So I go to the game.
So he's your guy.
Right. It's a Friday night. The arena is buzzing. I'm working for NBC Sports Boston, and one of my coworkers comes to me and says, Kyle, Drapes, you better not go into the locker room, man. You better not go into the locker room. I'm like, wow, I always go, I ain't scared of no locker room. That's what I do. I'm always in the locker room. He's like, Marcus Morris Sr. is out to get you. He came up to me and was like, yo, where's your boy Kyle at? And I'm like, Marcus Morris Sr. has a reputation. It's not like he's this choir boy, nice guy. Like, I think he's about that light. Like, he would throw hands if he was upset enough. And so I stayed out on the floor, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, yeah, you said something on the post-game show the other day. And so I'm like, man, whatever. So I'm out on the floor. Marcus Morris Sr. comes out and comes up to me. I'm ready to do battle. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's make it happen. He goes, yo, man, what were you saying the other night about me struggling? You said I was struggling the other night. And I was like, dude, you were struggling. You struggled. You were 3 of 15 from the field, and I told him, and I'm sure to Steve Smith's point and everybody that covers a team, when you play well, I will praise you. I'll be your biggest cheerleader, especially in that role as Celtics pre- and post-game host. When you play well, I will be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest fan. But when you don't, I got to call it out. I got to call it like I see it. The only way to cure that is play better. Same thing with Jerry Jeudy. The only way to shut Steve Smith up is play better. And you know what, Whitey? Me and Marcus Morris Sr., we're cool to this day. And so we had that little beef, that little, it was like at midcourt too. Like the lights were dim, the music was eerie and everything. It was like a Western out there. You know what I mean? We were about to do battle, but we had that conversation, and ever since then, we're cool, man.
Maybe he was testing you, and he knew. Really, it sounds like from what you say, you didn't really criticize him. You stated a fact.
Right.
3 for 15.
Right.
Someone is struggling.
You're struggling.
No matter who it is.
He took it personally, and I'm like, nah, dude. Like, especially me. I'm always, most of the time I'm a player fan. I'm a fan of players. I want them to succeed. I want them to do well. But yeah, so we had that beef. There's another one with Rajon Rondo. I don't want to get into. It was in San Antonio.
You really want to hear the Rajon Rondo story?
Yeah, that's for another day, man. That's for another. Maybe we'll get Rajon.
We're on the topic, and you brought it up.
No, Rajon Rondo got mad at him. So when you go in the locker room, and you've been in the locker room before, there's a segment of the reporters that go in that are there not to ask questions, but they're just to lurk, hang out, or whatever, loiter, if you will. And so this game in San Antonio, Rajon Rondo had enough. He's like, he used some bad language. Man, what y'all all up in here in this locker room standing around for?
Did he say ninja?
No, he didn't say ninja, but he did drop a B word maybe in there.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so I went up to interview him, and I said, hey, man, I want to ask you about Paul Pierce. And he used some language, he was in a bad mood or something, but he said something sort of X-rated. Like, I can't even begin to say what he said.
When he knows that you can't use that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but he was mad at me. Why you want to ask me about Paul Pierce? Like, he was in a mood that day, and Pierce was his teammate. And so he used some bad words and bad language. And come to find out, years later, I was talking to Scal about it. And I was like, Scal, what's up with your boy Rondo? He said X, Y, and Z. And Scal's like, oh, he said that? Oh, that means like they had a different language inside the locker room than normal people do. So when Rondo said, you want me to blank, 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 in his eyes, it meant you want me to hype up Paul Pierce. You want me to talk good about him. I thought he was taking the X-rated version, like he was saying something X-rated. And so we got into it a little bit. It turned into a whole scene with newspaper reporters and everything. But, man, I miss the locker room covering, I miss stuff like that, interactions with, that's how you earn your stripes, Whitey, And I've always wanted to be one of the guys that I didn't want to be a person talking about sports, but you never saw in the locker room. Like, for me, I just couldn't do it. In Boston, there's a bunch of guys, they're throwing haymakers left and right. Hey, and I wanted to always go into the locker room. If I said something, I always wanted to be present the next day.
Now, do you have the same access? Does everyone have the same access as we did pre-pandemic?
Yes. Okay, everything's back to normal now. Yes. Yeah, it's great. Everything's, as a matter of fact, I just got the text from the Kings. Anytime you want to come to practice, Drapes, you're more than welcome. Come watch us practice as many times as you want. So I'm all in, man. I'm gonna be at practice every day now. Because usually you got to
see
ask
the whole practice.
Yeah, I said watch the whole practice.
Okay, because sometimes at the old practice facility,
they'd have the
media screen there.
No, I sit and watch the whole practice, and usually I got to ask for permission each day.
Yeah,
they just told me no need to ask for permission. Just let us know when you're coming by.
Excellent.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. So I'll have plenty of good stuff for us.
Yeah, and again, Kyle has the call, and it's amazing. You got a lot of fans all of a sudden on the chat.
Oh, really? People are on the chat?
Yeah, because they think, hey, have I ever told you how much I love Kyle? They're thinking that they'll get a mention on the.
It's funny. They probably want tickets. I went to pick up lunch today. This guy saw my shirt. Hey, you work for the Kings? I'm like, yeah. What's up, man? I'm excited for it. He's like, can I get a couple tickets? I'm like, bruh, you're killing me, man. I wish I had access like that. Jason, I should have went Steve Smith. I should have, man. But everybody wants Kings tickets nowadays. It's a great thing. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's a lot better than it used to be. I don't want your tickets. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. So we'll move on. We had season tickets for a time, and sometimes we couldn't use the tickets. And it was difficult to find people that wanted them. That's
right.
That's all I'm saying.
And think about it, too, though. When I first moved here, and I don't know if it's the same right now, but you used to be able to get tickets for Kings games at Costco. Like, now, I don't know if they'll be there anymore. I don't know. But I always thought that weird. Like, they were sort of discounted. I'm like, you go to Costco for the deals. Like,
Not
Kings,
anymore.
we not about that. We up right now, you know?
George Kittle's fine with a T-shirt fine, and he got a bigger fine than we thought he would get. And as promised here, look at the Cleveland Browns' rich and curious quarterback history when we come right back. Drive Guys, Friday, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned him down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift and be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make $500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly to mostly cloudy through the night tonight, with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow we'll see a good amount of cloud cover, but enough sun to see highs in the mid 70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
The NorCal Sportsman Show is coming October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Get huge year-end deals on everything outdoor. Hunting, fishing, camping, golf, and more. Plus free interactive family activities, live music, the Big O Tires Custom Car Show, and a real catch and release pond from Fisherman's Warehouse. Don't miss this first ever event, sponsored by Roseville Auto Mall. Get your tickets now at NorCalSportsmanShow.com. That's NorCalSportsmanShow.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sepp Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sepp Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
Hagen Oaks wants you to know about the exciting new T-Series irons from Titleist, offering effortless speed, exceptional feel, and precise control. Working with tour pros and dedicated amateurs, Titleist T-Series are available in 4 different models. The fitting team at Hagen Oaks will find the perfect Titleist T-Series iron for you. Call 916-808-2531 to find your fit today. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at HagenOaks.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
When every shot counts, the professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio encourage you to try the brand new Titleist T-Series irons. Irons designed to enhance your play through control, distance, flight, forgiveness, looks, sound, and feel. With 4 T-Series models, the fitting team at Hagen Oaks will find the perfect Titleist T-Series iron for you. Call 916-808-2531 to find your fit today. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
Woo! Thanks to Kyle Draper for sharing his own version of Inside Boston Celtics locker room. Tremendous stories.
We got, there's some great ones, man. We need like an after show, like a unfiltered kind of Patreon kind of show afterwards where we can tell all our old stories that aren't fit for the air or something like that.
We can do that when we're doing our show at, wherever we decide to do it. We're out somewhere, before a game, after a game, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I have a few, but I don't know if I could compete with your Rondo story.
Mine are a little X-rated though, or R-rated, or whatever you want to call it. Like, put the kids to bed before I tell some of these stories, man. With Kevin Garnett and Rondo and those guys. I mean, those guys, they were cursed just to say hi to you. It's like you walk in, what's up, KG? Instead of saying, yo, what's up? It'd be like, what's up, and like, it's like, like even our hellos were R-rated, man. It was crazy. Oh, man, those were the days.
Yeah. Speaking of X-rated, George Kittle has been fined by the NFL. He expected one, and he had said on Bay Area radio, he said, I don't care. I'd do it again. This was before he knew what the fine was. He said, I'm good with it. I don't worry about it. I'd do it again. But, we had talked about, Kyle, how he could have been fined for displaying a personal message on the field. And there's a fine schedule the NFL has. That's $10,927. So, it's like a menu. If you do this, you get this.
Right.
So people thought, well, that'll be the fine. He actually was fined $13,659.
Oh, a little extra.
Yeah, for unsportsmanlike conduct. So that was the official fine for the bleep Dallas t-shirt.
See, this is why I can't root for George Kittle, though. Like, no, I'm joking. I'm not going to have no fake outrage over this. And, people be like, oh, Drapes, you just hate the Niners. No, it's not about that. You know what? And Kittle said he would do it again, too. He said, you know what? All right, I'll take the fine me, whatever. But he would do it again. And so I don't have any problem with it. Just don't let it become a trend around the league, and I get why the NFL would fine him.
You know why I had a little bit of a problem with it? And I know I'm in the minority. And Kyle Shanahan said, it's no big deal. It's like WWE. And if his coach is fine with it, his teammates are fine with it, then who cares what I think? But to me, there was no reason to do that. You were going to beat the stuffing out of Dallas anyway.
Right. But
so why, who knows? Down the road, maybe when you play them, who knows when it is. But maybe, circumstances for you aren't their best and you give them a little extra fuel. And maybe it makes a difference. Maybe not. But I just don't understand why you give them that opportunity. There was just no need for it because you were going to demolish them anyway.
Let me ask you this, because we grew up around the same time, but you've been around here a lot longer than I have. When you look at the Niners Cowboys, yes, it's a rivalry. Yes, they, played each other in big games, especially, decades ago. Where would you say the rivalry is right now, though, compared to those 80s, 90s rivalries?
Now is only a rivalry because of those games. It's not added chapters.
Right.
It's like, hey, this is a big game. Why? Because remember the games what they used to have? Even though they've played in the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because the 49ers right now are so clearly the better team.
Right. And so I asked that because why does George Kittle feel, like the need to do that when, in my opinion, it's not that much of a rivalry anymore? And sure, they played, like you said, the last 2 postseasons. Sure, because of yesteryear. But, there haven't been many chapters in this rivalry in the last 30 years, And so, I get it. It's Dallas. It's a big game. But why the F Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
Why is there – I get it. You hate them. They're your rival but when I look at it, I could argue that Seattle's a bigger rival right now. I could argue, right now, Philadelphia's your rivalry right now. Sort of like the Kings and the Lakers. We know that's the rivalry, right? It goes back. But right now, I could argue the Warriors are the bigger rival right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the other factor, though, in this case is, as we know, he wore the shirt because, in a way, it was homage to Gary Plummer, who wore the same shirt.
94, right?
Played, years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
So fans loved it. His teammates apparently loved it. His coach was okay with it. So I get it. That's a win. Part of me wonders why you needed to do that there. Maybe it won't matter, but you just didn't need to do that. It's almost like Nixon bugging the Democrats at Watergate. It's like, you were going to win.
right.
Very timely reference. I know. It's like, you were going to win anyway. Why? You didn't need to.
Our listeners under 40 are like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? What's going on?
I don't know why. That's what it reminded me. I was like, well, okay.
But
it wasn't necessary.
The only reason, if I'm Kittle, it's necessary to flash it the way he did after the game is if something transpired during the game. Maybe you had it on and you weren't meaning to, come out and open up your jersey. But then, some of the dirty plays against CMC, maybe there's some trash talk. Maybe they pissed you off on the field, and maybe that's why you're so demonstrative with it after the game.
That's a good thought. I hadn't thought of that. So he wouldn't necessarily have let anyone know that he was wearing it, maybe.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
This Sunday, of course, it's the 49ers and the Cleveland Browns, and it looks like starting at quarterback for the Browns will be P.J. Walker, and bless him. He actually has played against the 49ers before. He came in a couple years ago, kind of mop-up duty for the Panthers when they played the 49ers. But if he starts Sunday, and it appears he will, then he will be the 36th different starting quarterback for the Browns since 1999 when they returned to the NFL. Because they went to Baltimore, then that team became the Ravens. So then 1999.
I'm trying to think. Who is there the best of the best? Well, over the last 25 years.
Well, can you look at that?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, you got the list there.
Since 1999, you could take Prince's 1999 and replace the names of these quarterbacks with the lyrics, and you'd probably make it through most.
Give me some of those names.
Peterson, Spurgeon, Wynn.
My boy Tim Couch was there, right?
Oh, man. Jeff Garcia, Luke McCown, Trent Dilfer, Brady Quinn. Like that. You could do almost the whole song, or a lot of the song. Charlie Fry, Derek Anderson, Ken Dorsey, Bruce Gradkowski, Colt McCoy, Jake Delhomme, Seneca Wallace, local guy, Brandon Whedon, Thad Lewis, Jason Campbell, Brian Hoyer, Johnny Manziel, Connor Shaw, Josh McCown, Austin Davis, Cody Kessler, RG3, Deshaun Kaiser, Kevin Hogan, Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Taylor, Case Keenum, Nick Mullins, Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and PJ Walker.
That is pathetic. And who's the best of the best out of that bunch? Like, who had the strongest tenure as Browns quarterback out of that bunch? It's exactly. I stumped you right. Like, seriously. I mean, have they had anybody, 3-4 years in a row? 5? Probably not. Like, they have not had stability at that position.
No, most of these guys have done something somewhere, but it hasn't necessarily
been in Cleveland.
Yeah. Remember Baker Mayfield just a few years ago.
He was supposed to be the guy.
Yeah, Hard Knocks, and he was going to be the next Brett Favre, and they had Tyrod Taylor. He's starting this week. Tyrod Taylor, I think, is starting for the Giants this week.
Oh, yeah, because Dan Jones is out. Yeah.
So it's incredible. Is it a curse or a jinx, or I don't know, but I'm going to do that sometime. I'm going to do that to 1999 and see how many of these quarterbacks I can just name instead of the lyrics and see how far I get in the.
Would you want to time it up? Start the song and then start reading off the players. Oh, I thought you were going to lay down a track or something like that.
I'll do that too. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. But to answer your question, I mean, Jeff Garcia was a good player, but he wasn't
not
right
there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Colt McCoy a little bit. I mean, even Baker Mayfield, he broke that playoff drought.
Right.
He's not there anymore.
That is just, that's, when you look at bad quarterback situations over the years, that probably has to be right up there. I was thinking Jets, but at least Mark Sanchez had some success with the Jets. He won a playoff game. I don't know about anybody on that list.
Right. Yeah, and there are a couple of these guys, I got to be honest, like, I'm not sure I remember that guy at all. Do you remember Thad Lewis? I mean, maybe a little bit. Doesn't really ring a bell.
Nah, I don't know. There you go. That's why Cleveland has not had success in decades.
It's a rather important position, I would say.
Exactly. The most important position in all of sports. You got to get that right, and they haven't.
Yeah. Emil Fragoso will get it right. Our 49er insider, SactownSports.com. He's going to join us and tell us what it is about the Browns, if anything, that actually concerns the 49ers. Next year, Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. It's valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Boot Barn honors a Western legacy built by those who persevere through resourceful determination. Ariat honors that same legacy by bringing innovative technology to classic pieces. Driven by a dedication to the craft, Ariat blends timeless Western artistry with advanced performance features for the modern cowboy and rodeo athlete. Out west, ingenuity is second to none. Ariat at Boot Barn.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton & Price in your corner. When you call Ashton & Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com. 0
down with approved credit.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out, Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hobbit at Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. What's happening for Ram Power Days?
The biggest sale of the year with up to $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew cabs. Or save up to $6,000 off MSRP and get thousands more with 0% financing for 72 months.
Pretty much all your Rams are on sale and 0% financing.
Pablo is always looking out for you, which is why we have up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 2500 Crew cabs too. And with over 500 Rams available, we're sure to have your perfect truck at California's #1 Ram truck dealer.
These deals can't last long. See our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. 12,000 total net savings after 6,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,000 loyalty bonus cash for current owners of Stellantis brand vehicle and $1,000 case construction cash. Must have purchased eligible case equipment from qualifying dealer. Or take 0% financing for 72 months plus 6,000 dealer discounts. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $1,389 per $1,000 borrowed. 8,000 total net savings after 3,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discounts. Rebates may include $1,000 case construction and 500 first responder bonus cash for current members of eligible first responder association. 10 of each offer. See dealer for details.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. In Sacramento, giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Drive guys getting you ready for the Browns and the 49ers. Emil Fragoso going to join us in just a second. Before we get to Emil, Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, we were just talking about all these quarterbacks the Browns have had. PJ Walker would be the 36th they've had since 1999 starting, and we were wondering if any of them been any good. And I'm looking at a list here, Kyle. You know, right now, Deshaun Watson is 5-4, and that's remarkably good compared to other quarterbacks.
How many of them have a 500 or above record?
I can see Deshaun Watson and then Brian Hoyer 10-6. And of all the other ones, I mean, you know, I got a whole list here. Maybe I'm missing a few. Derek Anderson 16-18, Trent Dilfer 4-7, Jacoby Brissett 4-7, Josh McCown 1-10. It ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. Doug Peterson 1-7, Jason Campbell 1-7, Johnny Manziel 2-6. So what's PJ Walker going to have for the 49ers? Let's find out. Our 49er insider from SactownSports.com can tell us. Emil Fragoso brought to you by Timber Creek Golf Course. Visit timbercreekgolfcourse.com to book your tee time today. How you doing, Emil?
Good. How you doing, guys?
We're doing fine. You know, just going through the long litany of Cleveland Browns quarterbacks. Is there any chance the Browns can score enough points this week to be competitive with the 49ers?
Well, that's going to be the challenge, Whitey, honestly, is for PJ Walker to come in and step in on short notice. You know, it was DTR before the bye in week 4, and now it's PJ Walker, who Steve Wilkes has a lot of familiarity with, coached him last year in Carolina, and he wasn't very successful for the Carolina Panthers. He has more picks than he has touchdowns. So it's going to be an uphill battle, but I expect the Browns to kind of play time control, you know, a lot of possession football, run heavier behind Jerome Ford, their backup, and Kareem Hunt as well, a familiar face there. So it's going to be a very heavy round game, especially with the forecast being so rainy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Emil, about that forecast. I think it's going to be 55 and rainy that day. How will that factor into the Niners? Could this be a Chicago kind of thing like last year we saw in the opener?
Well, thankfully, there's no predictions for a monsoon, so we can avoid that at least. That's the good news. You can't get the worst weather, I believe. It's rain most of the week there in Cleveland, so it's going to be some wet conditions. And the Niners haven't really played, you know, in subpar conditions all year yet. It's been, you know, sunny in the Bay Area. It's not even that much breeze. It's been pretty nice. So now they got to go on the road and really prove it against a Browns team who is defensively very, very sound. Offensively, I know they have some questions, but defensively, they have the pieces in place to at least, you know, make the playoffs possibly. They can just keep it together offensively.
Talking with Emiliano Fragoso, our insider, SactownSports.com. To that point, Emil, Kyle Shanahan says this game in Cleveland looks like the 49ers' toughest test so far. Is that just coach speak, or is he right?
Well, if you look at the whole quote, Whitey, he says he thought Dallas last week was going to be their toughest test too, and ran right through them. So, I mean, what is a tough test anymore to the 49ers, right? At this point, you can't pick the Niners to lose a game until you see it because they're just that talented right now. But if there was going to be a team, they call this, you know, the rat game, you know, a trap game, right? If there's a game, it's a trap game. It is this one right here. You're without Deshaun Watson, your starting quarterback. You're without Joel Bitonio, their all-star left guard that they have. And you got your backup running back in Jerome Ford, who's been good, but he's not Nick Chubb. So you would think on paper as 10.5 favorites on the road, it's going to be a cakewalk. They're going to run right through them. Not so fast. I could see it being a close game potentially, late in the third, early fourth, and maybe the Niners pull away. But I think the Browns are better than people are getting them credit for.
Emil, you're dumbfounding me. Like, are you really expecting me to believe what you just said? You sound like Kyle Shanahan's right-hand man. Don't overlook these Browns. Watch out. They're going to be good. This could be a tough test. All the Niners got to do is score 14 points, 17 points. Like, they could do that in their sleep. And so I don't see in any kind of fashion where this is a close game. I mean, the only way the Browns have a chance is if Brock Purdy throws 2 or 3 interceptions. Maybe there are some fumbles. They have to win the turnover game. But these are two teams in totally different leagues. Now, if Deshaun Watson was playing, if Nick Chubb was playing, I would believe what you're saying. But you know what? And I'm not an arrogant, confident Niners fan. That's not me. I'm objective.
Yeah.
I just don't see a way in which Cleveland makes this one competitive.
Well, Draper, I'm going to be honest with you because before the season, I also picked the Browns to win this game. And this is back, at the start of the year, I picked the Browns to win this game. And also, Draper, we talked last week and you were dumbfounded by the fact that me and Whitey were thinking it was going to be a landslide against Dallas. And guess what? It was a landslide against Dallas. So do not count.
You're pulling receipts, huh? You're pulling receipts on me.
Always pull receipts. Now.
All right, you got it. You got that one. You got that.
Yeah. Emil, theoretical for you. What if there's this guy that and he's a pretty good guy, but he's one of those loudmouth Philly fans, and maybe you wouldn't hang out with him that much, but you got to work with him, so you're around him all the time, and you hear about Philly. What would you say to that person, he or she, because it's totally theoretical, to convince them that right now the 49ers are the best team in the National Football League?
Didn't the Philadelphia Eagles have to go to overtime to beat the Commanders like 2 weeks ago? Wasn't that a thing?
It's all about whether you win it. See, what's the record? As we say in golf, the scorecard doesn't have pictures. The standings don't have pictures, Emil. The standings, it's all about getting W's.
I agree with all about getting W's, but there's levels to getting W's, and the Niners have proved time and time again this year there are levels to football, and they are playing at the peak level of football like I have ever seen in my life. Honestly, I have never seen a team be so like a well-oiled machine and just keep churning things out. Philadelphia is very, very talented. Yes, I'm never going to discredit them. And Week 13 could be the game that decides the entire NFC, the entire conference. But in my opinion, right now, as we look at it, unless one of the Niners' big players get hurt, knock on wood, they are the better team than the Philadelphia Eagles just based off of overall talent and overall team chemistry.
See, what's happening here is, working with Whitey, listening to you, this is a loser mentality you have going on right now, Emil. You don't win Super Bowls in October. Sure, if you want to win, it's like the presidential election. Sure, you may have won the Iowa caucus, but we got 49 other states to go. We still got 3 months of football to go. We still got 12 games to go. Talk to me in November, December 3rd. If I'm the Niners, and I give the players credit, they aren't coming off as arrogant and overconfident as their fan base is. They're doing it the right way. And so if you want to say, we're the best team right now, go for it. Have your way. But it's October, my friend. Talk to me in January.
Fans are fans. And Emil's not a fan.
I'm not a fan.
He's a journalist. Yeah, he's a sports journalist.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Draper, here's the difference. The Niners keep all of their coaches besides D'Amico Ryans. Even when they lose a guy like D'Amico Ryans, they get a guy like Steve Wilkes. Aren't the Eagles missing Shane Steichen? Didn't he go to the Colts, and aren't they kind of relevant? I think Shane Steichen was a big reason of Jalen Hurts' breakout last year, and that's kind of why I see a peter off. I think they are still very, very talented, but I feel like there have been signs of weakness by the Eagles in certain spots throughout the year.
You're 100% right, though, Emil.
Signs, though, for the Niners.
But aren't you scared just a little bit that the Eagles are playing their C-plus game, and they're at the same spot the Niners are? It's like the Niners are playing at their peak right now. Can this Niners team really get that much better?
I'll tell you what, honestly, I wish it was in San Francisco. I wish when they're playing.
I know.
The Eagles, I really wish that game was in Santa Clara.
I wish it was in the Bay Area so Draper could go to it and I could laugh in his face afterwards.
I'd go wearing my Jalen Hurts jersey, that's for sure.
I mean, I really think home field would make a huge difference in this game, but we'll see. As you said, long ways to go until then. I want to ask you, Emil, your opinion on something. A lot of penalties, of course, called for tackles and hits on Christian McCaffrey. And I think they're pretty clearly targeting him. Christian McCaffrey says, no, they're not. Kyle Shanahan says, no, they're not. And Kyle, I think we talked about it. He said, no, I don't know. He's hard to bring down. Yeah. I think they're pretty clearly targeting him because they can't stop him. How do you look at it?
Just guys being physical. This is football. Things happen. Like, it's football. Can we get back to the days where people laid each other out? That's what football is about.
I don't think we want
that. I think they legislated that out.
I don't like the legislation now. I miss the old days of I miss how Brian Dawkins used to play, frankly. Like he used to play and rip people's heads off. I miss that kind of football. Like that Dre Greenlaw play in the first quarter against Tony Pollard. I was baffled that they wanted to call a penalty on that because the action started while on the field still. You play through the whistle. That's how these guys play.
Mm-hmm. That's Draymond Greenlaw, I call him, because he's always getting the personal fouls. Emil Fragoso is with us. When are the 49ers going to start getting to the quarterback? They're getting pressure, but when are they going to start piling up sacks? And does that matter?
As long as they're getting pressure and as long as there's playing team football, it doesn't. As long as they keep swarming to the football, it doesn't. But I do think it's possible that I'm not going to say it's me this week, but it could be next week against Minnesota. This week against the Browns, they still have a very good offensive line. Wyatt Teller's still there. He still got Jarek Wills on their left tackle. They have a very sound offensive line. So I expect it to be a war in the trenches because of that. So I don't know if it's going to be this game, but I do think those sacks are coming. And just like, last week against Dallas, they got a lot of pressures against Dallas. As long as they're getting those pressures and forcing the quarterback to be uncomfortable, that's all you really need to do because they'll make mistakes and then you can get turnovers off of that.
Last one for me, Emil. What's the injury situation? Dre Greenlaw, what's the latest with him?
Yeah, Dre Greenlaw is questionable going into week 6 with a hamstring injury. He was not present Thursday at practice, nor Wednesday, nor Friday. And it was interesting, actually, because they listed him as a resting player on Wednesday. They usually do that for Trent Williams or, George Kittle, guys that have put on a lot of wear on their bodies. Well, Dre Greenlaw is 26, so we were kind of curious why he was a resting player. We thought, well, maybe he's got a lingering ankle injury. Who knows what it was. No, it's a hamstring injury now. So this is a new injury. So yes, you can maybe play through it. The fact that he's listed as questionable is a good sign because he didn't practice at all this week. But if they sat him out this week, it wouldn't be the biggest surprise because it's about playing for the playoffs, right? This team is playing for not the regular season. They're playing for the playoffs. And frankly, they got a guy in Oren Burks in their sub linebacker package who got his first career pick last game. He's a very talented linebacker as well that needs to get some reps.
Emil Fragoso, brought to you by Timber Creek Golf Course. Visit timbercreekgolfcourse.com to book your tee time today. Emil, before we let you go, time for Emil's Card Corner. What do you have for us today?
Yep, got a card for you guys. This is my one and only Paulo Banchero /49 purple on-card metal. On-card as well. These are cool cards because they're metal. They're not paper or cardboard or anything. They're metal cards, so they're hardcover. So that's what it looks like that. So on-card signing, they don't grade as well because, scratches or whatnot, but they're beautiful cards. And this is the purple variation of Paulo Banchero. And he had that big dunk earlier this week. So big Paulo fan I am.
I will give you, I know I usually offer you $5. I'll give you $11 for that.
No, I might have to take it, Whitey. I might have to take it. It's a good offer.
Thanks, Emil. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
We will be right back after a quick timeout. By the way, Jerry Reynolds joins us bottom of the hour. When we come back, NBA.com says this king must make a huge leap this season. Do they have the right guy? We'll find out when we come back. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Have you ever heard that phrase, less is more? Well, at Harbor Freight, we're all about more for less because we know you like to do stuff, to make stuff, to improve stuff. That's why everything in our stores, from miter saws to tool chests to cordless impact wrenches, is priced affordably. So get out there and drill, paint, and saw to your heart's content. We just ask that whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say?
Beware, if you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Sactown Sports.
Jerry Reynolds, speaking of Kings basketball, he's going to join us bottom of the hour, all-time Kings icon, sharing his thoughts on the Kings preseason so far. And, of course, Kyle Draper has the call, NBC Sports California, Sunday night for the Kings and the Golden State Warriors. Kyle, we've talked a lot this week about this poll and that poll, and maybe we've overreacted a little bit. I know you and I were both a little miffed at some of the general managers survey, NBA.com. Some people have actually looked at that. I think, Kings Herald? They looked at it and said, the Kings got a little bit of love there. So maybe we've been a little overly sensitive. Mm-hmm. But I saw this today, Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. NBA.com has for every team in the NBA, one player that has to make a leap this year, one player that every team needs to make a leap forward this year. The guy for the Kings, according to Steve Ashburner, is Keegan Murray. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree because De'Aaron Fox isn't going to make that big of a leap. Like, he's already at an elite level. Sabonis already at an elite level. Is Kevin Huerter all of a sudden going to turn into a 22-point game scorer? No. The guy with the biggest room to jump is Keegan Murray, and the guy who is the X factor for this season is Keegan Murray. What Keegan Murray gives this Sacramento Kings team is length, a guy that can shoot, and hopefully a guy that can create off the dribble as well. And so I've said it time and time again, and Sacramento Kings fans, I'm sure Keegan has the potential to go from 12 points per game to 18 and 19 points per game. If that doesn't happen, I will be disappointed because I expect big things from my guy. Watching him at practice, you could tell that the team is looking for him. They want him to be aggressive offensively. We saw it in the preseason. We saw it in the California Classic as well. And so Steve Ashburner, a tremendous writer for NBA.com, longtime writer. I agree 100% with him. To me, Keegan Murray takes this team from a getting into the playoffs first round team to a team that can go deep conference finals team.
When I watch the Kings and watch other teams around the NBA, correct me if I'm wrong here, and Keegan addresses this, but I sometimes feel like other teams have more athletic, long wings than the Kings do. And Keegan certainly can address that issue if there is an issue, but I just feel like other teams have some of these guys coming out of their ears, and the Kings they just don't have as many of those guys.
Well, I agree with you. And when you look at like Boston, for instance, they're so difficult to play against, not because of how great Tatum and Jalen, but they got length at every position. Mm-hmm. Like, they shrink the floor with their length. And so I think, when you look at the NBA, that's sort of the trend. That's like the copycat thing. You look at Milwaukee with that front line of Lopez, Giannis, and you throw in Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, his length, his arm reach is tremendous as well. And Orlando, OKC, like, they got long defenders out there. And
their
so
point guard's what, 6'8"?
Yeah, exactly. Giddey is, 6'8". Franz Wagner in Orlando, he's what, 6'7", I think. And so, I think that's the way the NBA is going. Monty hasn't, decided to go that route. But I will say, those guys just don't grow on trees.
Yeah,
either.
You can't just get a guy.
You can't just get, right.
Bring him in.
Exactly, because when you look at some of the players he's had brought in, KZ Okpala, Kessler Edwards, guys like that. They're long, tall defenders, but they haven't turned into the complete package just yet. And so I think Monty and Wes Wilcox, they're looking for that kind of player, but it's hard to, and I think that's why Keegan is so valuable to this team, because he has the length, he has the reach, he has the ability offensively. Let's see what he does defensively as well this season.
That's why, again, I know I mentioned this to you last time we talked about the Kings. I'm intrigued, maybe not for this year, but perhaps later this year or next year, Colby Jones, with his length and his ability to play a little bit of guard at 6'6", I like that. That's a very intriguing possibility.
Yeah, I like it. And, I was watching him today at practice, and he moves well, and he gives them some defensive length that you were talking about. Like, this is a guy who can be a difference maker, I think, defensively, especially on this team. Like, if you're Mike Brown, you're looking for guys who will answer the call defensively. And if I'm Kobe Jones, I'm listening to this, I'm saying the way for me to get on the floor is getting after it defensively.
So that would suggest that Chris Duarte is going to have some real opportunities here if he can play as well defensively as Monty expects.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing him on Sunday. I think he's going to get some big minutes, maybe even be paired with the starting unit at times out there on the floor.
We haven't seen him and Sabonis.
Right, we haven't seen him that much, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully we'll see that Sunday. But I said it the other day, man, the opportunities are there for Duarte, for Sasha, for, Kobe, they have an issue when it comes to depth at that wing position. It's, we got Malik Monk, but who's backing up Harrison Barnes? Who's backing up Keegan Murray? I think, you got Trey Lyles, obviously, but I think there's room for other guys, like a Chris Duarte to get minutes there.
Maybe that's one of the reasons they really haven't looked great so far is just we haven't seen Keegan yet. I mean,
we only saw him. Yeah,
he's going to make all the difference, but
I would imagine too, if I'm Mike Brown, and I know you got 3 preseason games left, one of these games, the starter's going to have to play extended minutes. I know I'm not talking about 35, 40 minutes, but I would like to get an extended look at that starting unit and give them some more opportunity to get, flowing a little bit. Keegan didn't play in game 2. I want to see, is he going to be aggressive with Fox on the floor, with Sabonis?
And you liked his aggressiveness in that first game.
Yeah, in the first game, right from the jump. He took it to the bucket, and threw down the dunk. He came off the screen, off the dribble handoff with Sabonis and didn't just, come off and shoot. He actually put it on the deck and shoot. And so I'm telling you, if I'm Keegan, I need 15 shots a game from young Keegan Murray this season.
Are you going to be out there yelling? Are you going to get down from your broadcast booth, be yelling at the sideline if he's not getting his shots?
Nah,
hey, Keegan!
I'll pull him to the side or something like that after the game. I'm like, young fella, what are you doing out there, man? You can't blend. Keegan Murray cannot blend in for this team. He can't just, to quote Steve Smith, be a jag, just another guy. He has to be a guy, the guy, one of the guys for this Kings team.
And he looks like he's ready for it, and it should comfort you to know. Chris Watkins and I, when we were doing during the summer, our Bold Kings predictions, and those so far, I think we've even got some of them right so far. They're going to be like 95% accurate. Have Keegan averaging 20 a game this year. So
20, that's a lot, but I'm not that far off. I said 18, 19. I think I laughed at you when you said that earlier, but I was just being difficult. I was just being that guy,
I mean, that would be quite a jump, but he's capable, and they need him to be that guy.
Because as great as Sabonis is, he's not going to turn into a 30-point per game scorer or 25. He is what he's going to get you 19, 20 points, 12, 13 rebounds, 7 assists or so. And that's fantastic. That's great. That's what you need. But I also would like to see De'Aaron Fox get his 25. Why can't Keegan get 20, like you said? Yeah. There's enough to go around. This is an equal opportunity offense.
We have from Manny Too Legit on the chat. We're going to hear some Keegan chants on Sunday. Can't wait.
Yeah, can't wait. And I will tell you, at practice, some of the players, they do it too to Keegan Murray. When he shoots Keegan, and the other players will say Murray. So they're all in on that also.
By the way, make sure you check out the NorCal Sportsman Show, October 14th and 15th at the grounds in Roseville. We're going to head out to the Roseville area when we come back and check in with all-time Kings icon, the great Jerry Reynolds, with his views on the preseason so far. Jerry Reynolds joins us next. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly to mostly cloudy through the night tonight, with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow we'll see a good amount of cloud cover, but enough sun to see highs in the mid 70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockrell, the Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. It's Friday the 13th. Should investors watch out for black cats, avoid walking under ladders, and throw salt over their left shoulder today? How do stock market investors fare on Friday the 13th? Fridays are typically a lucky day for investors, coming in at the best performing day of the week, positive 54.6% of the time. This wasn't the case on Friday, October 13th, 1989, deemed Black Friday, where the S&P 500 fell 6.12%. October is typically a winning month for stocks, up 0.9% higher on average. What a difference a year makes. 30-year mortgage rates started 2022 at 3.22% and have climbed to as much as 8.4% currently, with the average monthly payment growing from $1,400 in January 2022 to $2,317 currently. With 2023 quickly coming to a close, will potential home buyers find better luck soon? How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisor.
It's time now for the Silver and Black Report, brought to you by ACR Home Services. For all your roofing and solar needs, visit acrhomeservices.com. Well, the Silver and Black are back at it this weekend, looking for 2 in a row as they face New England. Josh McDaniels, coach of the Silver and Black, spent 19 years with Bill Belichick in New England. He is 2-0 lifetime versus his former mentor. Other connections, Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Myers both started their careers in New England. Game time is Sunday at 1 from Las Vegas. That is your Silver and Black Report. Let ACR Home Services be your one-stop shop for all your home needs, starting with unbeatable roofing services. Right now, get a new roof and receive $1,000 off that roof. So sign up today and save with no payment for up to 12 months. And ACR is more than just a roofing company. Whether it's roofing, solar, electrical work, you name it, when you choose ACR Home Services, you're not just getting a contractor, you're partnering with a team that's invested in your satisfaction. That's ACR Home Services.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Mike Woods, PGA Director of Golf at Hagen Oaks Golf Complex, says pace of play registers as very important to most golfers, so he offers a few tips to help. When you're in a cart, drop your partner at his ball and drive to your ball. While your partner is hitting a shot, you can be getting ready for your shot, and your partner can meet you at the cart. Move to the next shot before putting your club back in the bag. That way, you're putting one back and taking a new one, all in the same motion and time frame. Now line up your putt while others are already putting, so you're ready when it's your turn. And you probably don't need to mark 2-foot putts, unless, of course, it's a tournament or a big money match. Save writing your scores until you reach the next tee. And it's not enough to be ahead of the group behind. Stay up with the group in front. It's a game. Have fun. And let everyone else have fun as well with a great pace of play. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a deal going on right now that you cannot miss. This summer was much shorter and cooler than normal, so that means Good Guys is overstocked and ready to clear out their warehouse. They've got inflation-busting pricing on a brand new heating and air system for just $82.99. No other company is offering a replacement system that low. Call Good Guys now at 530-GOOD-AIR to see if you qualify. That's 530-GOOD-AIR for a no-cost qualification appointment. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
What a Sunday it's going to be. 49er football and Kings basketball. Been too long since we've talked to our next guest. By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason, welcoming back all-time Kings icon, former coach, GM, great broadcaster, Jerry Reynolds. How are you today, Jer? Happy Friday.
Well, happy Friday to you, too. You know, I really enjoyed your take on the football situation around the league, and I guess the Chiefs don't count anymore. Is that what you're telling me?
He's a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, Chiefs fan. Please. I'm an Eagles guy, Jerry. I'm an Eagles guy. You know, I'm still in my feelings about that Super Bowl.
There. And Whitey's at Niners, and I get that. And as you pointed out, Kyle, very wisely, I might add, that there's a lot of football to be played.
Hey, exactly.
And you know, that quarterback that is employed by the Chiefs has a way of kind of getting better when he needs to.
You know what it is, Jerry? The Niners are like the NBA in-season tournament champions. You know, if there was an NFL in-season tournament, the Niners could have it. That's what they would be right now. But the games in January and February matter just a little bit more. You like that way?
Too?
Yeah. Yeah, and kind of who's healthy. That's right. The other side. That's why I don't get too excited about anything in any sport the first month or two.
Yeah, well, Jerry, we know that it's silly to get too excited about the preseason, especially. That said, is it fair? I feel like it would be nice if the Kings had been at least a little more competitive defensively in these first two games. If they just looked like they were giving a little more effort, is that fair?
Yeah, it's reasonably fair. I mean, because mainly you know this team's going to score and going to be as good as anybody in the league, if not the best. So you're hoping for an improved defense. Truthfully, you haven't seen that yet, but you don't really need to see it yet. You would like to, and I know Coach Brown is. You know, it's not like he had noticed the same things. So, you know, if they can just improve, find out a way to get a little 2 or 3 points better on defense, obviously they could be a contender.
Jerry, when you know, Mike Brown going into his second year here, tremendous first season, obviously. We know the numbers. It was a love affair pretty much from the get-go. But now he's into his second season. When does the honeymoon phase wear off, and how difficult is it as a coach to, you know, keep guys buying in and motivated? Can you use the same speech as you used a year ago, or do you got to come up with new material?
And how long was your honeymoon period as a coach?
I think it lasted about 24 hours. But yeah, I think with Coach Brown, I mean, I think he's just got such a great personality, and I think the honeymoon is going to last longer for him than just about anybody. But we all know that it's W's and L's. I mean, you know that's what the league is, and the negative for Coach Brown, he did such a marvelous job. I don't know that I've seen a coach have a better year, you know, in all my years of watching and being involved in basketball than he did. But now of course, that brings its own level of expectations. You know, it's like, oh, okay, you got 48 now. Now, what are you going to do for me this year? And I've looked around the West, and boy, if a bunch of teams stay healthy, it could really be rough.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this though, Jer. In your opinion, and you're absolutely right about the West, which team though do you think by the mainstream media is most overrated right now in the West? The Warriors, the Clippers, or the Suns?
Well, that's a great question. I still think it might be the Suns, because you're really counting on something from two guys, Beal and Durant, that just haven't been healthy for several years, to where they've missed a lot of games. And so, of course, having said that, of course, the ultimate guys missing games were the Clippers.
Yeah.
Of course, I think the Clippers, if they're healthy, might very well be the best. I think the Warriors will find a way to be very good, but I don't see them as a contender personally.
Jerry, when you look at the way the Kings are, and we've talked a little bit about the defense, we know Mike Brown is preaching defense all the time with this team, but we haven't seen the results yet. As a coach, what buttons can you push? Do you just keep at it? Do you just keep trying to, drill it into the guys?
Well, that's a great question. I think, I don't have a good answer, but I do think that if you're really going to demand defense, probably the only thing a coach can do is, instead of subbing based on offense, sub on defense a little bit. At some point you kind of got to jerk somebody's chain a little bit. And even if it's a Sabonis or a Fox or whoever, just a kind of reminder that, yeah, we know you're really, really good and everything else, but we'd kind of like for you to guard somebody.
That would be nice. Yeah. Jared Reynolds is with us, of course. In what ways, Jared, do you think Fox and Sabonis, and as good as they were last year, tremendous seasons, are there ways that either one could be even better this year, realistically?
And I listened to Kyle a while ago, and I agree. I think he's who he is, and there's not a darn thing wrong with that.
Right.
I think he's a 19-point guy on 12 shots and, 7 assists and 12 rebounds. My goodness, that's big-time stuff. I think Fox can get a little better with his three-point shot. I think he can get a little better as a playmaker because he just breaks down defenses so easy that I think he the more confidence you get, I think he'll find guys a little better. Not that he's bad, but I think he could even get better there. But and he is capable of being an outstanding defender. I think we see it, at times, and it kind of needs to get a little more consistent. We don't expect it to be Davion, but his length and quickness, I think, could really be a step up for the team.
On with the legend himself, the icon, Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, who's the one guy you're looking forward to making a big impact for the Kings this season? Talk to Sabonis, Fox. Who's that guy that takes us from a good team to, we can be a serious contender?
Keegan Murray.
Exactly.
Well, I just thought in the California Classic he was just terrific and showed, I understand what Summer League is, but he was doing some things, that he hadn't done all year. And, getting to the basket, making plays off the dribble, things like that. I think, he is such a good, nice young man. He wants to blend in. There's not a selfish bone in his body, but he needs to develop a selfish bone in his body.
Well, is that kind of like, would Eddie Johnson maybe be a model in that sense? Eddie was a team player, but he knew if there was a tough shot that you guys needed, he wanted to be the one to take it, right?
Yeah, there is, I think he could be. I think he's a better athlete than Eddie was, and he has a chance to be a better defender. And I do think he's got potential to be better than Eddie. And Eddie was terrific, as you know. He'd get, he could get 18 every night on anybody. There's definitely reason to believe that Keegan could take that next step and be the, anywhere from 16 to 20 point scorer, and that you could really count on, and another guy down the stretch, because he can make threes, and he's such a threat spacing wise that it opens up things, helps everybody else. So yeah, I'm enthused. I'm a fan, and I like this team. They're a fun team, and Keegan Murray is just one of my favorites for sure.
Jerry, obviously it was a good season last year, 48 wins, playoffs, and you listen to Mike Brown. He wants the expectations to be high for this team. I'm talking, championship level. When you look at this season, what constitutes a success in your opinion? What do coaches measure success by? Is it just W's and L's? Is it how far you go into the postseason?
No, I do think it really is more to do, are we a better team? And that may not necessarily be more wins. The opposition has something to say about that. But I think having said that, I think, Mike Brown has made clear, he talking about building for a championship, and that's what he should say. I mean, I heard people criticize that, and I said, well, what should he say? Boy, I hope we can win 15, 18 games this year. I mean, so no, he's doing everything right. I mean, for the way I would see the team, I'm not quite as optimistic. I wish I was, but in my mind, if the team, makes the playoffs and could win the first round, that's a tremendous improvement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's ask Denver. They didn't get to be champions in last year, just from last year.
Right.
There's a building process, and of course, so I think in most cases, unless you're going to get some free agents, all the best free agents in the league, you're probably going to, especially a small market team's probably got to build the way up. And I think, and I think the Kings are on that track. I think they got a great coach and great general manager. So, why not?
Well, we appreciate it, Jared. Before we let you go, I got to ask you, because I was walking my dog a couple of days ago, and there were a lot of turkeys in the area. And I know being by your house, you've had in the past, Mrs. Reynolds has the foil and the shiny things up, because you guys have been at times besieged by turkeys. What is the current state of the battle between the Reynolds and the turkeys?
I think we've won it.
Wow.
I think we've won it.
Mission accomplished.
Victorious.
Well, I don't know if we get in trouble, but she bought a water gun to spray on them. So, but you can't have old people get in trouble for that, can you?
You're just discouraging them from hanging around. That's
all we're doing. We're just saying, we don't mind you going in the neighbor's yard, just get out of ours. And so if you got to do that, so anyway, Miss Reynolds is, I don't question her. She's in charge, and I didn't like the turkeys anyway, but in Roseville and good part of Sacramento, I mean, they're taking over.
Yeah. You got to be careful what you say to her when she's got that water gun in her hand, don't you?
I have.
It's like talking to Reggie Theus when he's out there hunting pheasant with the bow and arrow, right?
Yeah, well, I'm more scared of Mrs. Reynolds than I ever was Reggie.
Thanks, Jared. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good weekend, you guys, and go Chiefs.
All right, Jerry. Had to get that in there. Had to get it in there.
Yeah.
The legend, Jerry Reynolds.
When we come right back, Kings Warriors Sunday. Who needs to play well for Sacramento? That's next. Drive, guys.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Quick Quack Car Wash.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly to mostly cloudy through the night tonight, with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow we'll see a good amount of cloud cover, but enough sun to see highs in the mid 70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
There's just something about fall that makes me want to enjoy every moment. The changing leaves, the pumpkin patches, and you know what else won't last? Quick Quack's new pumpkin spice scented car wash. Text SPICE to 41284 to get 50% off any wash.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location, is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out, Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit. Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports' IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's film at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Big weekend coming. Make this part of your weekend. NorCal Sportsman Show, October 14th, 15th at the grounds in Roseville. Thanks to Jerry Reynolds for joining us. Thank you for being with us. And we, of course, have the Kings and the Warriors Sunday night. Kyle Draper with the call.
Yeah.
That's an honor, huh?
It is an honor. First preseason game at home. Crowd to be lit, amped up.
Yes.
So make sure you check it out. NBC Sports California or our boy G-Man here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Mm-hmm. So who needs to play well? Who needs to play well for the Kings in this? Even it's a preseason game, but who needs to play well?
Let me ask you this before I answer.
I have a name in mind.
Who needs to play well for their own cause or for the Kings to be an improved team, like a good team? Like
I'm thinking more to improve your
standing. Earn more minutes, get rotation.
Right. Because obviously, like Sabonis, he's probably gonna have a good game.
He doesn't need to.
Yeah, but to me, Kevin Huerter probably needs to have a good game.
I agree with you. Huerter's probably at the top of that list. The thing is, you could argue no starting position outside of Fox, Sabonis, and Keegan is set for the entire season. You could argue, HB at some point might be moved to the bench. I don't know. You could argue, Kevin Huerter might be moved to the bench. And so, I agree. Kevin Huerter needs to have a good game just for, and I said this the other day, his own confidence, to get back to being who he is. He had a rough series against the Warriors. First 2 preseason games haven't been good. And Kevin Huerter is the guy that really opens up a lot for the Sacramento offense. Kevin Durant talked about Kevin Huerter's 3-point shooting. There was a reason why the Kings, were on fire, during that 7-game win streak and to start the season. Kevin Huerter was playing lights out. His shooting is something that, him, Malik, and Keegan, and now Sasha, bring. I would say for me, I think Sasha needs to play well. I want to see more from Sasha in this game. And I'm not talking go out there and score, 14, 15 points. I want to see a both ends kind of game for Sasha, not any defensive mistakes or errors or liabilities. Come up with a couple of steals, maybe even be a playmaker too on the offensive end. Doesn't always have to be a 3-point shot. So I think Sasha needs to play well because we talked the other day. I think him and Chris Duarte are battling for some minutes. And Mike Brown's trying to decide, all right, who's going to be in my rotation to start the season? And I think Chris Duarte and Sasha is up for grabs right now.
As you said, you've got 4 starters who basically can do what they want during the preseason for the most part. Sasha can't think. I have no reason to believe that he does think this, but he can't come over thinking, yeah, I'm good too.
Right.
Because they spent all that money. He can't afford to think that way. He's not one of those guys that can just glide through the preseason.
Yeah, and I don't think, from watching him at practice today, I don't get that from him. He doesn't carry himself.
Yeah, I don't mean to accuse him of anything, but he clearly can't think that way.
Yeah, but he can't be, what happened overseas in Greece and EuroLeague, that's in the past, Sasha. This is a different game, and I think it's going to take some time, some adjustment for him. And so I think Sasha has to have a big one. I agree with you, Kevin Huerter. Who else?
The thing to me, Kyle, about Kevin Huerter, and we know he hasn't shot well, but he's going to shoot the ball well, and he shot 40% last year. So not shooting well is kind of like, you're not comfortable with that, but that's probably going to come around. But he just really struggled. He had no chance of keeping up with D'Angelo Russell in the last game, and he just did not play well enough defensively. To me, this team, that's such an issue for them that he can't play that poorly defensively, preseason or not.
Yeah, I agree. And, I would imagine that's something Mike Brown, is stressing to him.
He knows it.
We need you to be a two-way guy. We need you to be engaged defensively. And, what's interesting about Kevin Huerter defensively, in that Warriors series, the metrics for him, he tracked pretty well. There's a reason, the metrics, the analytics for Kevin Huerter defensively were pretty good. That's why we saw a lot of him in Game 7, I believe. And so, they feel he's capable. We just haven't seen it yet this preseason.
Yeah, maybe that was just a poor matchup for him. As you say, Duarte, we touched on that not because, wow, you better get it going, but you have an opportunity.
Right. He has an opportunity. And, one thing I like about Duarte, and, I wasn't sure what kind of player he was, what kind of guy, but he's quiet and he goes about his business. And so I think, when we talk about players who can make a leap, make a jump, I think Chris Duarte is a guy that, come January, February, March, will be infinitely better than what he is right now. New system, missed a lot of time last season, new teammates and everything. And so I think he's still feeling out his comfort level with these guys. And so I think he has a tremendous upside for this team.
The thing I love about that acquisition, if I may mix sports a little bit, it reminds me of something the Moneyball A's would have done. Because Duarte, when he was a rookie, there was a chance he was going to be selected very high.
Yes.
There were teams like the Warriors had 7th pick. That was the Kuminga draft.
Right?
There was a chance that Duarte was going to go that high. He didn't. But my point is, this is a guy who just a couple of years ago was one of the top young prospects in the NBA, went to Indiana, started out really well there, got hurt again the next year. So this is a guy with tremendous potential here who you could get without giving up much to get him.
Yeah.
And that's just a really, really shrewd acquisition.
Yeah. In his rookie year, he averaged 13 points, a couple of assists, 4 rebounds. But more importantly, he shot 37% from 3 his rookie year, played 55 games. Last year, only played 46, started 12. His rookie year, he started 39. So his role got diminished last season with the Pacers. Add in the injuries, and that's why I think you see the efficiency go down. When you look at his shooting numbers, last season he was just 31.6% from 3-point range, 36.9% from the field. Everything went down for him last year, and I think the arrival of Tyrese, Buddy Hield, the changes, and the injuries sort of set him back a little bit.
We're going to take a time out here. When we come back, Kyle, I know that you were kind of giving Emil a hard time about the notion that this could be a game Sunday between the 49ers and Browns. I have a sobering number that you need to keep in mind before you assume this is an easy 49er victory. It's next year. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Dodge Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening with Ram Power Days?
We love American muscle. And right now is the last call on new 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger SXTs before they're gone, with lease payments as low as $399.
What about all those Ram trucks I see?
Save thousands with 0% financing for 72 months and $6,000 off MSRP on all new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn and Laramie Crew Cabs. And we all know 0% financing is almost impossible to find in 2023.
These deals can't last long. So hurry into Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram or see our whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
Take 0% financing for 72 months plus $6,000 dealer discount. Offer on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 0% for 72 months equals $13.89 per thousand borrowed. Lease new 2023 Dodge Charger or Challenger SXT for $399 a month for 42 months with $49.95 due assignment plus tax, license fees, and any accessories. Offer subject to credit approval through U.S. Bank with 10,000 allowable miles per year. 25 cents per mile excess mileage charge. 5 each net savings. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. At Elk Grove Honda, we include many benefits that a private seller just can't match. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection, and our certified pre-owned Hondas are under 5 years old. So you know you're getting the newest Hondas in prime condition. See our exceptional selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Hagen Oaks wants you to know about the exciting new T-Series irons from Titleist, offering effortless speed, exceptional feel, and precise control. Working with tour pros and dedicated amateurs, Titleist T-Series are available in 4 different models. The fitting team at Hagen Oaks will find the perfect Titleist T-Series iron for you. Call 916-808-2531 to find your fit today. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway, or online at hagenoaks.com.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
Yep, I'm looking at the pages right now.
Thomas's translation company just lost its only 2 Spanish speakers. Without the right replacements, he'll be in problemas.
Yeah, we'll have those ready. Tonight's going to be a late one.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco! Sactown Sports.
Hope you're enjoying your Friday drive, guys. Taking you home here, getting ready for this big fat sports weekend. Buddy Gleason and Kyle Draper. Kyle's got a big weekend.
Yes.
Kings and Warriors, Mr. Play-by-Play.
Mr. Play-by-Play on the call.
Play-by-Play.
I got to rest the voice here. So after I'm done, I'm not talking to anybody all weekend.
Get that shot
out of here. Got to rest the pipes a little bit. The pipes, they call them. So, yeah, I'll be ready, though. 6:30 on Sunday. I'll be ready.
So what are you going to do when you're watching football? The Eagles play this week, don't they? Yeah, they play.
Yeah, we got
a big play. They got the
Jets. Yeah,
What are you going to do?
Right.
Get your
You know what? That game is going to be such a blowout. I won't even need to scream.
Your team has a chance. I think your team can keep it close.
Zach Wilson's been playing better, though, the last couple of weeks. But, yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to sweat that one. I might be doing some yard work or something like that when that game's on. No need to. As Steve Smith would say, right? I'm not going to be bothered with that nobody or that game that's should be a beat.
They're Jats, just another
Jats,
team.
just another. I like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have been trying to convince themselves and others that this 49er game could be a competitive game. I know Kyle doesn't think the Browns stand much of a chance, and it's hard to see how they do. That's what I thought until I discovered this number, Kyle. From the 49er standpoint, nothing short of, well, I was going to say terrifying. It's not terrifying, but it's interesting. The coordinator for the Cleveland Browns is Jim Schwartz.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Schwartz used to be a head coach.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz in matchups with Kyle Shanahan as head coaches or coordinators, okay? They've gone head-to-head 8 times. Schwartz against Kyle Shanahan is 7-1.
Whoa.
7-1. Schwartz over Kyle.
And this is going back to Detroit, Atlanta games and things like that.
Let's see here. The first matchup, Shanahan was first-year offensive coordinator with the Houston Texans, and Schwartz was the Tennessee Titans defensive coordinator. So that was 2008. So it goes back to 2008. Most recently, 2020, the 49ers lost 25-20 to the Eagles, where Schwartz was defensive coordinator.
Okay, so they go back. So he knows Kyle's system. He knows what Kyle likes to do. Yes. So you're saying there's a chance for the Browns.
They certainly have a chance to slow down this juggernaut of an offense. Schwartz and the Browns, they've been very adept at stopping the run. Even the Cowboys, for as bad as they were last week, they did a decent job slowing down the run. It's just after they did that, they couldn't stop anything else.
Yeah, they did a heck of a job on Christian McCaffrey, and they did it, in the playoffs last year too. But you can't stop all the weapons, and that's the thing. When you look at this Niners team, they're second in the NFL in points per game. They score more than 33 points per game. So even on a bad day, Whitey, they're going to drop 24 on the board, 21 on the board. And so it may be something sort of like we saw last night with the Chiefs and the Broncos. 19-12, I believe that score was. the Broncos were in the game because of their defense. They held the Chiefs to only 19 points. The Browns, the only way they win is if it's a low-scoring slugfest, bad weather out there. It's going to be raining during that game. And so, and Jim Schwartz clearly knows defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the personnel to make life difficult for the Niners. And so that's the one area I would be concerned if I'm, a Niners fan, or if I'm a Cleveland fan. The one thing I'm hanging my hope on is our defense. Can they step up and get it done?
Some of these per game numbers are a little skewed because, no one has played that many games yet. So who you played has a lot to do with it. But last year, the Browns' run defense was not great. They gave up last year 4.7 yards per carry. That was 25th in the NFL. So far this year, they're giving up 3.2 yards per carry. That's second in the league, and they're giving up 71.8 yards rushing per game. So they have done. They've added some free agents, and with Jim Schwartz running the show now, they've done a remarkable job of improving. Defensively.
So let me ask you, because this is a top 5 defense when it comes to defending the pass and the rush.
Yes.
In fact, they're number 1 in pass yards allowed this season.
196.8 per game.
Yeah, total.
One.
Yeah, and so if you're the Niners, are you trying to establish the run and beat them with the run, or you the pass, or like what? If you're Kyle Shanahan, what are you drawing up against this Cleveland defense? Where's your advantage? You feel like?
I would guess, assuming that Cleveland sells out stop the run, which you can kind of tell, based on their formations, then you probably just have to try to throw some quick slants and hope your bigger receivers can get off the line. And, the old, it's kind of a West Coast offense thing, the old 5-yard handoff. But if it's really too sloppy to do that, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If you're not in trouble, you got a battle on your hands.
Yeah, you're right about that. And as great as the Niners are, they've been playing at a high level. And so you wonder, are they going to have one of those games? It seems like everybody has one of those games.
I would scoff at that, except a 49er fan just said basically that exact thing to me a couple of days ago. Like,
really?
They're going to have one of those games.
One of those games,
yeah,
right? Where it just, maybe Brock's not as accurate. Maybe, because of the conditions, the ball's a little slippery. You turn it over 3 times, and then you look up in the fourth quarter. Why?
Can you imagine?
No. Don't do that. Don't do that, Whitey. I do not take any pleasure in seeing the Niners lose or struggle or have a bad game. You think I'm that kind of a hater?
Well,
that's not me.
I think if Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions, I think I might be getting a few texts.
You might. I wouldn't be celebrating. I'd just be pointing out facts. The eye test, like I said. But I'm not openly rooting for the Niners to lose or play bad. They're a great story. They're great for business. I like the run that they're on. They're giving us content. They're playing extremely well. But it's a long season, and you wonder, is it a trap game? You just came off that big win against Dallas. You got Minnesota next week. No Deshaun Watson. So, maybe you don't get up as much for this game. And then you look up third or fourth quarter, you're only up 3 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah. Let me correct. I mentioned some numbers to try to emphasize what you were saying. And I want to correct that. What I had said, 196.8 total yards per game. That's what the Browns are giving up. Total yards.
Not passing, just
passing
total.
Just 125, which is first. And then 3.8 yards per play, which is first.
Right.
26.5 pass attempts per game, first. And 15 points per game, first in the NFL. So, the 49ers were looking at Dallas as the number 1 defense, and the 49er defense said, well, we got to do something about that. Well, now again, they're playing the number 1 defense.
Yeah, exactly. NFL. This is a real test, and the thing, when you look at this Browns team, that I think they're a little different than the Cowboys. I think the Browns are a more physical team than Dallas is. Micah Parsons gets after the quarterback. She had great but I think this,
Myles Garrett just destroys people.
Right. He just blows people up. Right. And so I just think, this is a bigger test for the Niners offense. But, I wish Deshaun Watson was playing, because then, it would be a fair fight. But it's, you're missing your 2 best offensive weapons if you're Cleveland. No Nick Chubb, no Deshaun Watson. So it's going to be tough. You're going to have to lean on that defense to play outstanding.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I think you said 14-17. That could be enough. If the 49ers score 21, I don't think Cleveland's capable of scoring 21 points.
I'm with you on that. Maybe it comes down to special teams or something. Like, it's going to have to be something outside of the offense that gets it done for the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see, the Dallas offense isn't that bad. Like, they have some weapons. They made CeeDee Lamb look non-existent. Gallup was a no factor. What happened to Pollard in that game?
Mm-hmm.
He was, bottled up. And so the Dallas offense is better than Cleveland's, and the Niners just totally waxed them. And so 10 points max for Cleveland, I think.
Yeah. Hey, they're going to run the ball, right? I mean, if you're 49ers, what are they going to do? They're going to run the ball. That's all they can do against you. That's all they can do. Don't you think if and when Brock Purdy has a bad game, aside from the celebration at your house, don't you think that'll be a huge story? Let's say he has a 3-pick game. This game, whatever. He's going to have a bad game eventually. Don't you think that's going to be a huge story for at least 2 days on all the ESPN talk shows and all the sports shows?
I think so, because when you look at Brock Purdy, he's probably, the most polarizing quarterback in the league right now. I don't think that's an overstatement, because there's a segment, including me, who can't believe that this guy is doing what he's doing. We had he played 4 years in college. He's the last pick in the draft for a reason. And now he comes in and is all of a sudden an MVP candidate. These kind of stories just don't happen all like this. Maybe he comes in and, takes time to develop or something like that. But, everybody got it wrong with Brock Purdy. Even the Niners got it wrong several times in the draft, right?
Right. They just got it less wrong.
They just got it less wrong, with the last pick. All right, let's take this Brock Purdy guy. And so I do think, to your point, if he does struggle, then all the questions start to be asked. A, will Brock Purdy keep this team from winning the Super Bowl? What about Trey Lance? Like, everything comes back up again. And I think there's a segment of the media of ESPN, like, they're just waiting for that, and they'll blow it out when it comes up.
When we come right back, why one football writer says the 49ers could still add to this roster. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Who do they decide on for the Super Bowl?
What do you mean, halftime act?
Yeah. I know that Taylor Swift.
Yeah, turned him down, right?
At what point do people turn on Taylor Swift and be like, why don't you lower your prices? And I understand the whole Ticketmaster thing, but what about the merch? Like, legit, do you have to make $1 billion? Could you make $500 million? Could you?
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course, I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
There's some people, Kyle Draper, saying that this 49er roster, as impressive as it is, and I agree with you that, hey, we got a lot of football left to play, but some say the 49ers could still add to this roster. Dan Graziano, I believe he's a fantasy writer, among other things, writes NFL for ESPN. He says, look, they've got cap space, of course. The trade deadline I think it's Halloween this year.
Is it? Okay.
He says, that don't be surprised if the 49ers, if they feel they're that close and there's a player out there that they feel could help them, don't be surprised if they actually add to this roster.
What do they need,
year.
though? Like, what's, is this fantasy football there? You scour the waiver wire and just get star players left and right. What does this team doesn't have any holes right now, do they?
No. And then, but they didn't really have a hole on the defensive line, and they added
Gregory.
Gregory.
Yeah.
Dan Graziano says, don't rule out the possibility of the 49ers, as tremendous as they already are, adding a player if they think it can make a difference. The Niners have the biggest of goals for this season. They were aggressive last year when Christian McCaffrey became available. Doesn't have any names in mind or anything, but it's an interesting thought. It reminds me of a baseball team that at the trade deadline, they could be all in on this year.
That would be scary. The fact that they have the cap space that they do have is scary. I don't know what, are they saving it for next year?
That's what they say.
Brock Purdy coming up, like eventually you're going to have to pay him, $40 million. The way Whitey's talking, he's a $40-50 million kind of quarterback.
That'd be a bargain
in his league. Yeah. But no, this team doesn't have any holes. And, it sort of reminds me, if you remember, the Niners back in the mid 90s when they had that arms race with the Cowboys. It seemed like anytime somebody's name came up, the Niners and Cowboys were always mentioned as possible destinations. And so, if you're a Niners fan, I've always thought this. I don't care about an owner's wallet. Go out there, like if the Yankees spend $200 million payroll, Red Sox, whatever. As a fan of that team, I wouldn't care as long as it brought home a chip. So if you're a Niners fan, you want them to go out there and spend money. You want them to go out there and increase the talent on the roster. I would be all for that.
I'm with you 100%. To me, the NFL was a better league when they didn't have the salary cap.
Yeah.
Now, I guess you could argue, well, now it's more fair.
Parity and everything.
But there were better teams. And sure, they were better than anybody else. But when those two teams or three teams, a really good team, squared off in the playoffs, it meant something.
Yes.
And you'd have teams that, okay, well, we have Joe Montana. We need a backup. Well, we'll get Steve Young. Now teams can afford to do that.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. And it creates a rivalry too, like a real rivalry. It's like, you got these two great franchises going for it. Everybody's all in. And, it's sort of like, when you look at the NBA right now, Milwaukee and Boston. Oh, Milwaukee goes and gets Dame Lillard. Man, we got to respond.
Yes.
We got to step up. Let's go get Drew Holiday. It's sort of like an arms race like that, and it makes it exciting. And now we're looking forward to Bucks Celtics probably in the Eastern Conference Finals. And so who would be that team, though, for the Niners now? Because the Cowboys aren't it. Maybe it's Niners-Eagles, Maybe there's a free agent and both teams are going for it. That would be awesome. That would be great.
I think the Chiefs have already been a little hamstrung. Nothing against the Chiefs, Jerry. They're a great team. Maybe they win another Super Bowl, but they've already had some issues where, it's harder to keep your players because you have to pay everybody more money, and you can't with the cap. You can't. That's one thing I appreciate. And I know this is not your favorite team, and I know the Kings are playing them, but I really appreciate the way Joe Lacob has been willing to spend money to keep that core together as long as they have in Golden State.
Yeah, exactly. But, here's the thing about Joe Lacob and what the Warriors did. Remember, they caught a break with Steph Curry and the ankle injury, so they signed him to a team. And then when you start winning, to keep that level of success, maintain that levels of success, you got to keep spending. And, as much as what was their tax bill? It was something crazy, like $300 million or it was something just in tax, something crazy. But Joe Lacob sees the bigger picture. Look at the value of the Warriors today versus 10 years ago. It's night and day. And so from a business standpoint, it makes sense to pour more money into your product because you're going to get a return on that investment.
According to, let's see, I'm not sure the source here. The Golden State Warriors are projected to pay $167 million.
Wow.
In luxury tax.
Right.
Yeah. They will have 5 players making more than $20 million for the new season. So some of the
so
new
that's
rules,
just in the tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
167,570,675 in luxury
These are
tax.
stupid, silly numbers, right?
Yeah,
here. I mean,
yeah.
this is, and so, and that's what's happening. The same thing in Boston too. Their owner just came out and said, the apron, the tax, whatever, we're willing to go over it because we want to win the championship. And so as a fan, that's what I would want from my ownership. I don't want an owner penny pinching. We can't put on a respectable team because we don't have the money. I mean, you're in this business to win championships. You're in this business to win games. And I tell you, when a city wins a championship, what it does for the city's pride and their psyche, and think about it. You go anywhere in the country, you say you're from the Bay Area, they know the Warriors, and that's a sense of pride for people.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the Kings ever won a championship, when I go to Boston, Philly, New York, and I say I'm from California, they aren't immediately going to say, oh, LA? I'd be like, oh, no, Sacramento. Oh, the Kings, yeah, they wanted, it's just a sense of pride, I think, when the owners put the money in and you get that return in a championship.
I can't say I'm overly familiar with this site, WenatcheeWorld.com, but they have.
Oh, yeah, I know Wenatchee.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's in Washington State, Wenatchee, Washington.
They say the Warriors and the Clippers will pay more luxury tax for this season than the rest of the 28 NBA teams combined.
Wow. The Clippers are a big. See, now think about it. The Warriors win championships.
Right.
Steve Ballmer's making this huge investment in getting to the second round at best, right?
What am I spending all this money for?
Ouch. Yeah, but back to the Niners, man. It's if Shanahan and Lynch feel like they need something, go for it. Whether it's a player that comes up, free agents, trade like they did with Randy Gregory. As a Niners fan, that's what you would want to see from that squad. And we said it before. They're not competing against the Seattles, the Cardinals. They're not competing against their division. They should be looking at how do we match up with Philly? How do we match up with Buffalo, KC, like the upper echelon? That's their competition, not the Cleveland Browns this week or any of these other teams out there.
A big part of this thinking that they would never admit to publicly is after, especially what happened against your team, when they didn't have any quarterbacks. One of the reasons they have this contingency is what happens if somebody gets hurt?
Right.
Somebody really good gets hurt.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Well, what can we do? We'll create the cap space. So maybe if that happens, heaven forbid, we will have the flexibility to try to get somebody.
Yeah, and that's smart. I mean, because that was a big reason why they didn't win last season. And
they have an injury history.
They do. I don't know if you expect all your quarterbacks to go down.
No, typically.
Right.
It's a little unusual.
That's a little unusual, but I get it. Now you got some flexibility. And like Jerry said, we've said it's a long season. What you need right now, it may change in week 10, 11, 12. So you never know.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to the trade deadline. But, it's not the same as it is in baseball or basketball.
Yeah, let me ask you really. Yeah, it's definitely not the same. Could the Niners use another running back? They got CMC. Elijah Mitchell seems like he's always banged up. What do you think about that? What do you think about the running back position?
I think they like. Is it Jordan? Jordan scored last week,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I think they like him, and given the salary structure, I think they're pretty comfortable with it.
Okay. Another wideout?
Because I think they're really happy with what they have. You could always, maybe improve secondary, but those guys. Right. There's some talk, with Denver getting rid of people.
Yeah.
Some people are wondering if Patrick Surtain could become available.
Man.
But it looks like what Denver's doing is they're getting rid of guys that they probably spent too much money to get. They're not just getting rid of their good players. So I don't think he would fall into that.
Right.
But I think if there's one position that they could stand upgrade, it would be in the secondary.
I agree with you on that. And that goes back to my point. They're looking at the Eagles. Eagles got, their wide receiving core is stacked. And so you might need to upgrade your secondary to keep pace with what the Eagles are going to do offensively.
Yeah, because it is, right? They're looking at the Eagles and maybe the Chiefs, and that's really who they're
right.
trying to
That's
figure
your
out how to match up against.
Right. So that when you get in that NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, you're matched up perfectly because they're good enough right now to beat any team in the NFC except the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. You got to worry about Jim Schwartz. And
yes. Get through this week.
Coming up this week's upset specials, and tell you about the team that has dominated the team it plays this week in historic fashion. Yeah, he knows about that team. Next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly to mostly cloudy through the night tonight with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow we'll see a good amount of cloud cover, but enough sun to see highs in the mid 70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. See our selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
One of the reasons people buy new cars is because of the warranty. They don't want to have to worry about things breaking and the fear of unexpected repair costs. But did you know Elk Grove Kia has one of the longest warranties around at 20 years or 200,000 miles? No other Kia dealer offers that. You would have to be a real to buy from anyone other than Elk Grove Kia. And if you're worried about financing, don't. Elk Grove Kia believes in second, third, and sometimes fourth chances because Elk Grove Kia's management team has over 100 years of combined automotive experience. We know how to say yes, a lot more than the others do. Collections, past due bills, repos, bankruptcies. Your job is your credit. So where others fail to get you into your new ride, we can get you qualified. Let Elk Grove Kia show you why we're out to be the #1 Kia dealer in California. So when you're ready for some peace of mind and a friendly face, come visit us. Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out. Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a deal going on right now that you cannot miss. This summer was much shorter and cooler than normal, so that means Good Guys is overstocked and ready to clear out their warehouse. They've got inflation-busting pricing on a brand new heating and air system for just $82.99. No other company is offering a replacement system that low. Call Good Guys now at 530-GOOD-AIR to see if you qualify. That's 530-GOOD-AIR for a no-cost qualification appointment. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057-618.
the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
All right, let's get this out of the way. Whitey and Kyle Draper, the Philadelphia Eagles guy, in the 104-year history of the National Football League, the Philadelphia Eagles have never lost to the New York Jets.
That's unbelievable, right?
Ahead of Sunday, yeah, the Eagles are 12-0 all-time against the Jets. It's the best win-loss record by one team over another all-time, according to NFL research.
No reason to think it won't continue this week, right? Well, what's your number? I got 6.5.
Pretty attractive home dog right there.
Eagles favored by 6.5.
Yeah, I think your number is probably more current than mine. I think I had 7. Yes,
7?
there it is, 7.
And so it's actually moving to the Jets, closer to the Jets favor. More money's coming in on the Jets. I might like that play.
Did you know, by the way, that Nick Sirianni, I didn't know this until I read it, with a win Sunday, Nick Sirianni could join Tony Dungy, Mike Martz, Mike Shanahan, and Mike Ditka as the only NFL coaches to start consecutive seasons 6-0.
Really?
Yes.
That's my coach.
Mm-hmm.
Remember his introductory press conference too, and how bad he was and everything. And then people were like, "The Eagles hired this guy." Now they love him in Philadelphia for obvious reasons, and so it's going to be tough. The Jets are playing better football. All that Zach Wilson talk has quieted down these last couple of weeks. You know, people were dumping on him those first 3 weeks of the season. He's actually played pretty decent these last couple of weeks.
I'll never forget when the Eagles hired Sirianni, and there was a quote. I have it here somewhere. It's going to take me just a second to find it here. A quote, an NFL source familiar with Sirianni's credentials as head coach said, Jeff McLean tweeted this. So a source, NFL source, said of Sirianni's credentials as a head coach, good guy, solid candidate, fairly smart, but not super smart. That's what I remember when they hired him.
But you know what? He's showing he is smart. Look what they've done to turning that team around. And it's when you look at the Niners and Eagles, man, this is what happens when you invest in the lines.
That's it.
But like when you surround QBs with talent,
that's it.
You know, we're seeing it with Jalen, we're seeing it with Brock. You know, great things can happen. And so football is usually, like, I would argue, football is the one sport where the best roster usually wins. Like the most talented team wins.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like you don't see as many upsets. You know, like what happened in baseball this playoffs, that doesn't happen in football.
I totally agree with you, especially in Super Bowls. Although it's a little, there's so much parity now, it's harder to tell sometimes.
Yeah.
But in the days when you knew, sometimes there would be upsets, but that would be because everyone was wrong about who was the better team.
Yeah,
it wasn't because the inferior team won. By the way, this is interesting. If you look at the other teams in history that have records similar against another opponent, they all involve defunct franchises.
Really?
So you got your Eagles 12-0 against the Jets. The Packers were 10-0 versus the Brooklyn Tigers / Dodgers.
Who?
The Frankfurt Yellow Jackets were 9-0 against the Buffalo Bisons. Packers were 8-0 against the Minneapolis Red Jackets.
So no modern.
No.
Wow.
No. And the Buffalo Bison 7-0 versus the Columbus Tigers. What? So this is really historic stuff by your Eagles against the Jets.
Yeah. And you know what? The Eagles have not played well, but they found ways to win. And if that's what you want from a good team, you may not always have your A game, but somehow, some way, they're finding a way to win.
I agree. I told you last week watching the second half of the game against the Rams were in it and the Eagles were making a lot of mistakes, but in the end, they won because they were way better.
They were just better, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's how the Eagles operate. And to an extent, the Niners operate. They know they are a superior team to their opponents.
I've got 2 upsets for you this week. You want to hear them?
Yeah, let's hear it.
They're not necessarily that stunning, but they are upsets. Home dogs. Technically, the Titans are home in London. They're getting 4 against the Ravens. I hate to pick against the Ravens because I like them, but I agree with you. The Ravens have been a little underwhelming at times this year. The Titans haven't been there, acclimated, because they were there last week, weren't they, in London?
Yeah,
I imagine.
Yeah, I think so.
So I like that. And then I also like The Chicago
I was going to say that.
Bears.
I was going to say my Chicago Bears are like, I was going to say that. I was going to join you in saying, you know what? I think the Vikings, it should be sinking. The ship be sinking for Minnesota, you know? You know, no Justin Jefferson. You know, a tough loss last week to KC. You know, Justin Fields playing better football now. He's looking halfway decent. And so I like the Bears in this one as well.
Do you do?
Yeah, I actually do.
All
yes.
right. And then I know you like home dogs. You also like the Browns +7, right?
Yes. No, he's trying to.
He's
trying to, dude. It's going to be like it's going to be 24-3 or something like this game will not be close. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know which team I do like. Keep an eye. I'm not confident in this, but the Patriots are 3-point dogs to the Raiders.
I was just looking at that game.
You know, that could be. I mean, that's a close game, obviously, but.
The Patriots have been, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but they have been the last, 2 weeks?
They've been
flat out
awful,
abysmal,
dumpster fire. That's what makes me think, you know what? This is like Belichick's last stand. Like, you got to win this, at least have a showing in this game. So keep an eye on the Patriots this week.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about how dominant the Eagles have been over the Jets. The Jets are getting 6.5 or 7.
6.5 I had, yeah.
I'd take your team there.
Exactly.
You can have.
See, I didn't even.
Eagles fly.
I wasn't even going to approach that game. But you said it, and so I'm glad you're on my side.
I also like the Chargers. Now they're home, but of course it makes no difference. Because they're playing the Cowboys. That'll be all Cowboys fans, most likely. But the Chargers are getting 2.5. And I know Justin Herbert has a finger issue, but I think the Chargers are a better team than the Cowboys. Maybe I'm not giving the Cowboys enough credit. Give me, if I could get the Chargers home, and points,
you would take
give
that.
Me the Chargers.
You would take that.
Yeah,
you're getting points in that one. Okay. All right.
Cowboys are broken.
I'm not going to argue.
Broke the Cowboys.
I don't know about that, but they might be broken. You're right. They got some issues. Dak, he's still seeing ghost out there from the interceptions he threw against the Niners, and so I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers win that one. Remember, Chargers just gave Eagles. Was it the Eagles who they play last week? A heck of a game. I forget who they matched up with. That was a heck of a game.
It was the Rams against.
Yeah, it was the Rams
Eagles.
against the Eagles. Yeah,
yeah.
But no, I wouldn't put it past the Chargers to get the
Chargers are never as good as I always fall into that trap.
Right,
They're never quite as good as I think they are. But I like them against the Star Hats. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Tin joins us on Sactown Sports. Hey, Tin, you're on with Draper and Whitey. What's going on?
What's going on? Hey, thanks. It's time. I said, Jay, I want to talk Kings, but you guys are on NFL, so we'll keep it on that. The Jets being winless to the Eagles, that's one heck of a stat, man. I'm a New York Giants fan, Kyle Draper, so a lot of battles, good battles, the division over the years, like the Deshaun Jackson punt return and the Michael Vick. So really fun stuff. Just wanted to put those good memories in your mind, Kyle Draper, so you could be a little happy, man.
No, I do. Listen to this. I can be a little. Nice. I'm always happy. I'm always happy. And why is he using my full name or something? Like he's my mom or dad. I'm about to get in trouble or something.
What's your middle name?
Kyle Rashid Draper, come in here and take this trash out. I had PTSD. I had flashbacks to that. I'm like, why are you using my full name? Call me Drape, young fella. It's okay. It's okay.
I like Drape. And okay.
What's your Kings question? You got a Kings thought?
Yeah, bring it.
I mean, so Sunday is the first home game regular season?
Preseason home game.
Oh, then that's not, okay, well, all right, well.
No, you still got to watch, big fella. You can't just be, turning on NFL Red Zone or something like you still got to watch my Sacramento Kings.
Oh, no, I don't do just the Red Zone. That's what Jason Ross does. But, for the Kings, I'll watch them. Good game winner by Fox. I think that this preseason game, they got to show. I don't know who they're playing, but
We'll let you go, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, my man.
I mean, you didn't know he's playing. He thinks a regular season game. Thanks for listening, but really, I mean,
my man waited 3 hours and 40 minutes for that call.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, we are
good
almost
New York
at the
Giants,
home stretch.
Good New York Giants knowledge, but still.
You know what? The NFC East used to be the best division in football back in the '80s. Man, those were some
even
battles.
in the early 2000s.
Yeah,
when I had
early 2000s. Yeah,
the season. What do they call season ticket?
Yeah.
What do they call it when the league, not the league pass, but the NFL league
the
pass.
ticket.
Yeah,
NFL Sunday ticket. Right? Yeah,
and if it was an NFC East game, it's like I'm watching.
Yeah,
and it didn't matter which of the four
they
teams.
were battles.
Yeah, and that wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't.
But,
wasn't. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. We'll get to the phones if you can hang on. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Is it the first regular season game?
Yeah, my man 10.
Who they
calling
playing?
me Kyle Draper, man.
Thank you, 10. We do appreciate it. When we come back, among other things here, are you ready for some football in the Olympics? What? Next, Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly to mostly cloudy through the night tonight, with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow we'll see a good amount of cloud cover, but enough sun to see highs in the mid 70s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let us fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $97. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You've probably heard the word, but do you know what a stimp meter is and how it works? Invented by Edward Stimpson in the 1930s, a stimp meter is a device used to measure the speed of putting surfaces. His version was made of wood and was simply a chute on which a golf ball would roll onto the green. Roderick Easdale writes in Golf Magazine, today's stimp meters are made of aluminum. They're 36 inches long and have a V-shaped chute down which the ball can roll. It has 2 notches on which the ball rests. After a flat area of the green is selected, a golf ball is placed in the notch and the end is slowly lifted until the ball rolls down the chute and across the green. The average of 3 distances becomes one of the measurements. The process is repeated in the opposite direction, and the measure of both directions is added and divided by 2. That figure in feet is the stimp meter reading. Most courses average 9 or 10 on stimp meter, which is neither too fast or too slow, just right for most recreational players. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Quick Quack Car Wash is a proud partner of the Sacramento Kings and can't wait for the upcoming season. To celebrate, Quick Quack is giving one lucky duck a pair of lower-level tickets to the Kings home opener versus Golden State on October 27th. Enter for your chance to win this epic opening night showdown by going to SactownSports.com. Be there for the Kings versus Golden State, courtesy of Quick Quack, where you can wash your car all you want with an unlimited membership.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Thank you for being with us today. Very excited about Sunday, the 49ers, and, of course, Kyle Draper. Play-by-play, play-by-play.
Me. Getting them chops ready, getting that voice ready. Excited.
Before we tell you about flag football as an Olympic sport, let's check in one more time here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Ramsey joins us on Sactown Sports. What's up, Ramsey?
Not too much, gentlemen. I got a sneaky game of the week / home dog that I like in the NFL.
Okay. All right. What you got?
The Houston Texans. I like
against the Saints.
I was looking at that too. Yeah.
I like the Texans to beat the Saints outright. I think C.J. Stroud's playing better than Derek Carr right now. And I also just like the vibe. They're at home. I like the vibe. I know the Saints have a good defense, but they still look shaky with Derek Carr on offense. So I think CJ Stroud hasn't turned the ball over either. Therefore, I think they protect the ball, win a close game.
Well, I got that number at 1.5. I got it at 1.5. What do you? Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got the same. I
do as well.
By 1.5.
Now, Ramsey, the only I was leaning that way, and the only reason I didn't say that on the air is because I really thought the Texans were going to handle the Falcons, and they came up way short there.
No, I like the Falcons, and I like the Falcons last week at home. And the Falcons. Here's the stat about the Falcons: Desmond Ridder has never lost a home game in college or in the NFL so far.
Really?
Dang!
Look at that.
Ramsey, stand us up here. Good stuff.
Check in again next Friday, Ramsey. We could use your
Not a
insight.
problem. Appreciate it.
All right,
man.
thank you. There you go. I'm adding that one to my list too.
Oh, you're taking that one too?
Yeah. CJ Stroud's phenomenal.
No, he's been good.
Big D'Amico Ryans fan too.
Yep.
5 sports, including flag football, proposed for inclusion at the LA Games in 2028, approved by the IOC Executive Board today. So there's just one last hurdle before they become Olympic sports. But we've got for LA 2028, cricket, flag football, lacrosse, squash, and baseball, softball added to the event.
Oh, baseball and softball. They're bringing that back?
Well, I think so. The reason I hesitate here is because of baseball / softball, and I'm wondering if that's some new weird game that I haven't heard of. But I think it's baseball and softball, because baseball for men, softball
right,
for
right. Softball for women.
Yeah, I'm
flag
all for it.
football, huh?
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know. That's like throwing cornhole in the Olympics or something like that. Darts in the Olympics. I don't know about flag football.
But it's the only way of getting football in, at least for now.
Right. But here's the thing. How popular is football worldwide? We're talking the Olympics. This is a worldwide event, worldwide phenomenon. Is this something the USA will dominate or, because, it's America's game. Football originated here. So I don't know if I like that. And how do you make the American flag football team? Like, is there tryouts? Is there some selection committee? Like, how do you become a Olympic flag football player?
That's a good question.
That's a great question, right? Olympic trials for that or something? What? I don't know.
Sure. And I don't know. There are probably some very competitive leagues. I thought I saw somewhere that there was an international competition for flag football for women, and I think Mexico beat the U.S. At the World Games last year, the U.S. men won the gold medal, but the women lost to Mexico.
In flag football? What? Come on, that's worse than losing in basketball.
Yeah, it's 5-on-5 on a 50-yard field. No offensive or defensive linemen.
I'm not tuning in. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of that.
I would be with you, except if it's just a way to get football into the Olympics. Although, to your point, there are tryouts.
Jay says there are tryouts.
Yeah, apparently they've
But
contacted
this is like
him.
watching the old USFL back in the, or watching, remember in the 80s when the NFL had and the players had the strike and you had the replacement players. It just wasn't a high level, like it wasn't the real thing. And so that's what I would think flag football. Like me and my boys can go outside right now and play for it. It's just not the same, man.
I've said for years that's one of the worst things about when you get older. Your friends don't want to play flag football.
Right, I do miss that.
Yeah,
oh,
so much fun.
That was in college, man. We used to go to the park on Saturdays or Sundays before games started. Man, I do miss that.
Yeah. Let's see.
What
here. That, like I said, we're gonna have cricket apparently. Baseball should be back, but again, that's for 2028. The games in 2028.
2020.
Are you? Here's what I was going to ask you. Are you a fan of the 3-on-3 as an Olympic sport?
No,
basketball?
I'm not.
I'm not either.
I'm not. It's just not. I'm not a fan of 3-on-3 as is, to be honest with you.
The only reason you play 3-on-3 is if you don't have enough.
You don't have
people
enough.
or you don't have full court.
Like
in the Olympics, you have
right. You got a full court. You got a plethora of guys that would play. And here's the thing, Whitey. You tell me. When I play pickup basketball, I hate 3-on-3. I hate half court basketball. It's like it's not a full workout. I don't know.
If
it's
that's
just
the
something
only
about
way
it.
You can do it. Okay.
Okay. And if they need me and I'll be their sixth player, all right. But I hate half court basketball because my game is full court.
Because it's not basketball.
It's not basketball. Exactly.
Yeah. So that would be like having over the line instead of baseball. Like we have baseball, but also we have over the line.
Right.
Olympics.
Right.
No, just play baseball.
Just play baseball.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But since they can't play full-on football, 11-on-11, I mean, that would just be
but why couldn't you really, though?
Well, you can eventually, but I don't think we could yet. Can you imagine what that would look like? The United States against, I don't know, nothing against Sasha, but Bulgaria.
In football. Hey, our boy.
It's a first round game.
Our boy Campio in the chat says football is getting big in Australia.
Aha.
So it might be like basketball back in the day when we had NBA players and we would crush everybody. Now the world has caught up. Maybe it'll take some time for the world to catch up in football.
And this, Kyle, flag football in the 2028 Olympics, it's all part of growing the game and getting to that point where we can destroy and humiliate other countries in our own brutal game.
Are you a Summer Olympics or a Winter Olympics guy?
Winter Olympics, if it's up to me, is like,
what?
I don't even know if we'd have it.
Figure skating? Speed skating? Slalom?
Right, exactly. Right. Those are the ones.
Bobsled.
Those are the ones.
Right.
I don't know. I was like, there they went.
Oh, man.
It's okay. It's passes some time. But Summer Olympics they used to only have the Summer Olympics because they had the Olympics. And then someone decided, let's do more. Okay, the Winter Olympics.
All right. I'm not going to push back on that. Summer Olympics, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely bigger. And the Winter Olympics are like the little brother of the Summer Olympics.
It's like some Olympics just to get you to the next Summer Olympics. Whet your appetite just a little bit. A little taste here. We'll throw this out there for you. For the so you can get ready for the Summer Olympics.
Yes. But that's, I think, good news. I understand why you're not that excited about it. Also, you've got other things to be excited about.
Yes.
So have a ton of fun this Sunday. It's you and Katie with the call, right?
Yes. Katie and I, no pregame, no postgame. I wonder what we'll do. I'll have to do halftime too with Katie. So Katie and I will do halftime.
I'll be around. If you
I
need.
might have you chime in. Need some hot takes from you on the Kings game. But I'm looking at Sasha, Kevin Herter, Chris Duarte. Those three guys.
Drive Guys back with you Monday. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend and keep it right here, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be